Here we go. Here we go. It's going to be a great show tonight. Guys, we've been working on the audio here. We've been working on the audio here for a couple of weeks. I got people saying, hey, the sound is good. Hey, you got to turn yourself up, Mooch. Listen, I'm here for you guys. You guys are my audio specialists. So, chat, please let me know as we get going how the audio is. The great Jay Bari. Jay, who's yelling? The PlayStation Portals is lit. I'm loving it. That makes two of us. Jay, thank you. Way too kind. Way too kind. The great Jay Bari is with us tonight. I can't wait to... I'm going to save his introduction for a moment because I'm ready to talk to the great Jay Bari, who's back, baby. He's back on CrossFire tonight. Very excited about this. I want to say thanks to everybody, first and foremost, while everybody kind of shuffles in. We've got an outstanding panel. Take a look at that panel right now, guys. That's a panel right there of the ages. We even have more people coming as the show goes on. That being said, please hit the like button. I got to do my services, right? Hit that subscribe button, see your name come up in lights. And if you look at that outstanding description down below, it gives you just a little synopsis of what we're going to be talking about tonight. You'll see that join button right above it. If you guys would please consider becoming a Mooch Maniac family member, it would mean the world to me, and it really does help the channel. I promised you guys a video. I've already started recording some of the PlayStation Portal footage. We're going to talk about some of the people on the panel that have already done a lot of PlayStation Portal footage. One was just released a few moments ago, too, by the great D-Batch. So we're going to get into that in a second as well. But guys, really, want to say stop and say thank you to every one of you guys. All you guys with those green names out there in the chat. Means the world to me. I'm going to call you guys out one by one, and we're going to get this killer show started one by one. Here we go. The great JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, TrueWiddy, Alphonso Carter, Brap, who's going to be joining us later, Jamie, Damien, the great Jimmy Harrison, who's here. He promised he would be here. He is here. Andy Hart, Red Hood 420, Ham Solo 5, Rob Jones, Night Ripper 7, Toto Dope, Thumbs, JC 2013, Passive Prophet, Lord Metroid, who I was just talking to a moment ago, Rabbit Got the Gun, Fastbender, Archmore Angel, Biggity 08. Shout out to Biggity 08 for gifting those subs. They're still here. I appreciate that. The great Slow Mo Backslap, who did a great DPS podcast last night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with the great Gaming Forte, who may be joining us after work tonight. Well, no. You never know. Forte's out there doing the work for us. He's got his ear to the ground for us. So go over and check out DPS on Thursday nights. The great Henry Heck, Ice Queen Gaming, Silent Merc, our major Mooch Maniacs, the great FTW, Sergeant 12, PlayStation Trophy Channel, Texas Lean, PlayStation 5 Sweden, X Abbott, 4-Star General, AD, Truth Serum, RPG 88, your boy Roy, Scolari Brothers, Smokes 901, DC Gaming, Miko, and it's an honor to say they're both here tonight. The What's Up PlayStation crew is with us tonight on the show. The great Jay Bar, you just joined the family again, and Gaming with Persona. You guys know they start at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday mornings. That's how I start my Saturday, and that's how I recommend you guys start yours. The great Tactical Gamer, Danelle Brown, That Guy Smitty, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniac. And listen, I talked to General on PlayStation the other day. And he says, Mooch, it rhymes with like Kool-Aid, and he gave me a bunch of things to rhyme because I've been saying his name wrong. General Thade Ape. Kool-Aid? No, it still doesn't work, General. I still can't get Kool-Aid to rhyme with Thade Ape. I can't do it. But the General is with us. The great General is back with us. Shadow Assassin, Raji, Domino Zero, the Wise Old Gamer, and our honorable mentions are out there with that food, water, or toilet. Please come home. Edward Jordan, Supreme Samurai, Julian Johnson, and our forever Mooch Maniacs, the great Longshot 316, and the great Optimus Code. And guys, the reason I'm just going so fast and I'm so excited is I just want to get to this panel as we approach the holiday week that's coming up next week. I don't want to keep these guys too long from gaming, family, and friends. I have so many things to ask them and so little time to do it in. That being said, it's an honor to have them back. I feel personally responsible, but I think the audience is the one that's going to benefit from this. I pulled him back from retirement. The great Jay Bari is back on the show. You guys know him from What's Up PlayStation Saturday mornings. Jay, welcome back to the show, buddy. And I'll tell you, you've been sorely missed.
Hey, yo, what's good, Mooch, man? What's up, everybody? Just a slight little, little vacation. Not no retirement.
Okay, good.
Just taking a little break from the podcast and stuff.
Yes.
But it's a pleasure being here, man. It's been a long time, been a couple of months. Great time. 2023 has been a banger for year for these platforms that we love playing games on. And Yeah, man. Just can't wait to talk about the topics on here, man. It's going to be a good one.
It is definitely going to be a good one, Jay. And speaking of that, I can't say anything about What's Up PlayStation without the other half of What's Up PlayStation. That's the great Gaming with Persona, who's back with us tonight. He was here a few weeks ago, and the show was absolute fire. Persona, listen, I said it before the show. I probably should have saved that great line I had to go live, but I'll say it again. We're going to try and get you on a portal by the end of the show. I don't think it's going to be successful, but I've spent my life in sales, Persona, so I'm not going to stop tonight. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, you like the fifth person that's been like pounding me to get this damn portal, man. But yo, Barry, shut up. Hey, yo, look, real talk though, yo. Shout out to my boy Mooch. You already know, man. You're the only one. We New Yorkers.
Yes,
you understand? So you know. I'll pull up. But you know, Mooch. You already know. But yo, listen, shout out to the chat, shout out to the panel, shout out to everybody here, man. It's gonna be a great show. I'm really excited, man, to talk about the topics. I'm taking bets, chat. I'm taking bet. How many topics will we get through this week? I'm saying 3.
Ooh, the over-under 3?
Bets.
All right. Okay, guys, the over-under 3. I'll go with that. I'm gonna go with over Persona, but I listen, you might say that's not fair because I'm running it. It doesn't matter if I run the show. It doesn't matter. If a topic's too hot, we don't move.
It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. But yo, big shout out to everybody, man. I'm happy to be here. Can't wait to get into the talking points.
Yo, the show is absolutely electric already. I knew it was going to be a loud one tonight. Shout out, by the way, to the Xbox Pope. I guess go by Xbox, but it's Pope Art now. Love the Pope. The show has been blessed. Pope, thanks for being here tonight. But I know it's late over in the UK, but it is a blessing to have you here, buddy. Great to have you back in the chat, guys. The Pope is here. I also want to say shout out to the great D Batch. D says to me, Mooch, listen, I want to talk Portal with you, but I got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. He's got a lot of things going on with the family. And I said, listen, I'm with you. I got a lot going on. I got a lot of people here too as well for the weekend. But nonetheless, the great D Batch is here. D, I just caught your latest video. Love how you did it in 3 different areas. Love how you gave the even at the end, you chimed in. You're like, let me tell you a little bit about this battery. So D, we're going to talk about it first and foremost in a moment. But first, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I've been testing out this PlayStation Portal for the last few days. I am impressed with it, man. I got a lot of stuff on the table, man. Got stuff with the kids. I got a review coming. I'm probably going to finish it and post it on Sunday of a S90C, S95C, the new Samsung QLED, or I should say Quantum.OLED. So I'm excited to do that. So yeah, man, I'm just kind of burnt out, man. But
I hear you.
The PlayStation Portal is such a new device, and I feel there's a lot of misinformation out there on that device. And someone like myself that, I do testing on devices and I do reviews on this. And although I'm an Xbox channel, I do review PlayStation products. Like I review the PlayStation VR too. Yep. I know I'm doing the Portal. Like I'm a gamer at the end of the day. Yes, I might be an Xbox eccentric channel, but I play on everything. So just because I like Xbox doesn't mean that I don't like anything else. And I think, at least you're going to get an honest review from me on this, because if I give it a good review, then I can't be capping, right? Because I'm an Xbox guy, and that's it. I'm an Xbox guy. But no, at the end of the day,
Buck, is that they're going to come after you. They're just they say one thing that they deem out of line.
I'll say this real quick. When it comes to I know console warring is always going to exist. And, when it comes down to games, you want to compare games and stuff like that. I think it's valid. But then there comes a point in time where you just got to give the devil his due. And
that's right.
At the end of the day, I don't understand why Xbox guys are getting upset about this. Because, if you don't own a PlayStation 5, why do you care? Because this is for PlayStation 5 owners and gamers, because it complements their system. Why do you care? Number 2, we have cloud streaming on the Rogue Ally. We have it on the Steam Deck. You're saying that, why do you need this device? Because you can do it on the phone. You can also do xCloud on the phone. So there's no reason to be jealous of it, because you don't support the PlayStation 5 ecosystem, right?
This man D-Batch preaching.
And if you don't if you don't support the PlayStation 5 ecosystem and you don't have the device, then your opinions, most of them on the device, are invalid. Now, if you say, hey, this is not a device, if you have a PlayStation 5 and you say, hey, this is not a device for me, then fine, that's valid. But if you don't got a PlayStation, I don't understand why you're saying anything about this device, because it's not even catered to you, because you're not in the ecosystem. So I don't know, man. Guys need to chill out and just enjoy gaming for what it is, a fun hobby. And when GT7 comes out and Forza comes out, sure, have the comparisons and say one's better than the other and whatever reasons, but it's got to be legitimate. And people just hating on the Portal for no reason is just ridiculous, especially when they haven't played it. If you've played it and you've had experiences with it, or it was a bad experience, that's a completely different story. But if you haven't played it and you're just out there, putting propaganda out there, I think that's ridiculous. And that's why I did the review today. After the show, you guys can watch that. Sorry. Long intro.
No, D, that's a great intro. And I'm glad you kind of said what you said. It's going to get into that as we go further and further and we peel the onion back on that topic. The great gamers Gamut's with us as well. Gamut, listen, reached out to you as well and said, hey, buddy, you got some time to do a show? He says, absolutely. Now, Gamut did warn us that his Steam Deck is set to arrive anytime during the show. But Gamut, before that thing arrives and the doorbell rings, buddy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, happy to hear from you. Always a pleasure to come and chat with you, chat video games at the end of a long work week, and look at this panel. This is stellar. This is absolutely stellar. So this is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, listen, then we've also got the great Mr. Badbit. Mr. Badbit he is definitely, listen, I got news for you. He is right now holding up a championship belt over his head. You guys can't see it. It's because he had his battles this week and won on Twitter, now X. But Mr. Badbit, great from the trophy room. I love it, the PlayStation trophy room. Outstanding show that you do. People need to know how much you also love all video games everywhere. But Mr. Badbit, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. This week has been, let's be honest with each other, y'all. It's been one of the best years of video games.
It has.
But it's been
very good.
One of the worst years in terms of like dialogue amongst gamers, especially here on the Twitter wars, because it's just getting a little ridiculous, right?
Yes.
I post a picture about, the joke is I'm on the toilet while playing my Portal and people are losing their minds about why I'm playing Sea of Stars on a Portal. I talk about how people are acting a little childish over Starfield not being in the Game of the Year category, and then people are pulling up quote-unquote receipts like sad losers from tweets from months ago from me that don't even have to do anything about the subject matter. So, it's been a wild week for me.
It has.
As someone that hosts a PlayStation show who is very critical of PlayStation most of the time, who one of their favorite games is Starfield this year, at least. It's just been like a topsy-turvy type of few weeks. It's just been a little nuts. And I'm really hoping Thanksgiving, y'all eat some turkey, y'all settle down. You're with your loved ones. You're like, oh wait, this actually really matters. Not what Xbox fanboy 748 XX has to say, stuff like that. It's good, But other than that, I'm doing great. I'm literally playing. I'm about to play Elden Ring on the toilet. That's what I'm about to do.
Well, you're right. You do whatever you want, Mr. Badbit.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
I didn't see anywhere in my Portal instructions where you couldn't use it. So you do you, buddy.
Yeah. And listen, this week we launched the Platties, a award show that actually makes somewhat sense. So head on over to the trophy room Twitter and. You got a link to it. We got all types of awards, all types of categories, a whole bunch of nominees. And trust me, they actually make sense of why they're there. I'm looking at you, the Dave the Diver indie game. You're not going to be here. Nope. No AI here.
Well, listen, guys, we're going to jump right into it. I only have some of these guys here for a little bit of time. Mr. Badbit, I just want to read a couple of these super chats so I don't let it go by without acknowledging them. Again, I'm going to read the great Jay Bari. Thank you so much. Who's yelling? The PlayStation Portal is lit. Loving it, Jay. It's going to be fantastic. DC Gaming says, thank God it's Friday. Great panel and have a great show. Legendary Villain, he says, do your taxes this year, guys. Did you get a tax refund afterwards? If not, it's because the government is biased against you. Tax, he says. Mooch, who the hell's yelling? I'm yelling. I got news for you. It's going to be a great show. Guys, outstanding. Thank you so much for those super chats. And guys, if you have questions for the panel, please do ask in the chat. D, so I'll go to you first here. And by the way, Jay, Bari, please, Mr. Badbit, please do jump in here. I want to hear. I know that you guys have the device. I have the device. I'll hold my thoughts for last. But D, let's talk about.
I'll wait. I'm definitely going to listen to D because he said that he got the product and he reviewed it. So I'm curious. I'm here. I'm here to see what.
Absolutely. And I got news for you. Everybody, put your seatbelt on because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what D has to say. Now, D, you did a superb test in 3 different areas. Okay, you did your office, you did your home, you did your car. You used LTE. You've used a weaker Wi-Fi signal, then you used a very powerful one. So, D, Could you give us a synopsis of what you thought when you were going into the product and what you ended up with at the end of your video?
Yeah, so when I was unboxing it, I was like, yeah, this is a Sony product because the boxing is crap. I don't know why they use such cheap boxing, but when I unveiled it, I was quite surprised at how quality it felt and how, what's the word I'm looking for? How familiar the controller was.
Yes.
Because it really is a DualSense Edge just kind of split in half. And the screen is exceptionally good. And you know me, I'm into my TV screens and my color accuracies, and it was pretty color accurate. Now, I didn't measure it, but to my eyes, it looked really accurate and it was surprisingly bright.
Yes.
Another thing that surprised me really was the battery life. It can go. Like, you'll get 5 hours out of that thing easily.
Yep.
And the haptic feedback, it feels just like the PlayStation 5, which is kind of an advantage. People are saying, oh, why are you getting this device? Because, you could do this on your PlayStation 5. And a lot of people, I saw reports of, guys getting really bad reception and it breaking up. And, I'm sure some people go to the extremes, but there's a lot of people out there having legitimate issues with it. So I wanted to test it in every area to see what was actually going on. I had some feedback there. I don't know what's going on. Did you guys hear that?
I don't hear the feedback. Do you hear it, Jay?
I heard it a little bit.
I heard for the last second, it's like a little beep or something.
Yeah, I think it's okay now.
Okay.
So I wanted to test it in all areas. So first I tested it on my house network and I have really fast speed. I have like 1 up, 1 down. So it's really fast.
Yep.
And it performed flawlessly. I went out the room. I went to another room. I went like 80 feet away. It wasn't until I went more than like 80 feet away that it started to, fickle out. And that's obviously going to have to do with your range, because however good your range is, that's how good your device is, right? Because that's how they connect.
Yes.
So it passed that test with flying colors. And then I saw some other guys on my Twitter saying, oh, man, I'm just having issues. I'm not getting that performance. And I said, what are you running it on? I'm running it on 2.4 gigahertz. And I'm thinking, holy crap, people are running it on 2.4 gigahertz. And, I got to remember that in the States, there's a lot of people that don't have good internet connection, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's surprising to me, but it happens. So I tested on the 2.4 gigahertz network, and it was pretty trash, to be honest with you. It was breaking up. It was jittery. It was like those videos that you've seen. So I pretty much came to the conclusion right away that 2.4 gigahertz, they need to tweak that. It's not working right. And to be fair, at that frequency, you're going to have a lot of interference. There's a lot of devices that use that frequency, and it's the protocol. Everything is it can get really messy, and it's just not performing well on the PlayStation Portal. That was one thing that I noticed, and they're going to have to patch that to try to get some I don't know, better performance. Maybe some people are having okay performance on 2.4, but I'm 100% certain that it's not optimal. Okay. However, when you're on 5 gigahertz bandwidth, you're fine. It runs like a charm. So the next step was to test it in the office, which I did it there, and I did it over LTE, performed flawlessly. I used it on my office Wi-Fi, which isn't as good, and it was pretty good. It had a couple little issues, but it still held it strong, and it was really momentarily. It was like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 seconds, and then that was it, and I didn't have any more issues for the rest of that playthrough. And then I use it in my car on my LTE, and it just works. And in short, people that own a PlayStation, this is awesome, because you don't have to play in your house. You can be away from your house. You could be at your buddy's house. You could be going somewhere with your wife, or you just don't want to be there, man, and you could just pick out your PlayStation Portal and play away and put the headphones on, plugged in, whatever, and get away and enjoy your game. If for me in the house, the kids, they punk me off for the TV all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can just go into the bedroom and I can just whip this out and I can play it.
Yeah, I just want to double emphasize a couple of things that you were saying there. You really nailed it with the 3 different locations that you had in the video. But there's times where you just aren't able to use the television in your main room of your house. And the other thing I found that, people say it all the time, play it when you're going to sleep. Honestly, play and Sea of Stars, getting a couple of missions done here and there. Literally, play the game right before you go to sleep, man. Nothing like it. You put it right down next to it. It works. And the thing about it is that it is impact. That's why when you see things on Twitter, guys, everybody in the chat that's listening to D, you're going to hear Jay in a second, myself, Mr. Badbit. The thing about it is it's a person by person. It does depend on your internet speeds, your Wi-Fi speeds. It really does.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing somebody say that I had a trash experience, this and that, unfortunately, and listen, maybe it is what it is. It's a product of remote play. That's a them problem. There's not much anybody, it is what it is. So for some people, they won't really have that great experience that D and I have had. And I'm curious to hear what Jay said. D, did you want to add some more before I ask the great Jay Bari?
Yeah, there's a few people that do have good quality speed and they have complained about some problems.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, they have a million devices on their network that just don't need to be there. And sometimes what you need to do is just plug your damn modem out, your router out, leave it out for a minute, plug it back in, let everything refresh. Most times, that'll fix issues. So a lot of people don't know how to do the troubleshooting as well. But I would say that at least at this moment, it's kind of mandatory to have good internet connection, good high speed internet, and be on 5 gigahertz. I think that's mandatory right now to have an optimal experience with this device.
Did you end up trying? Did you try it on a hotspot, like your phone hotspot at all?
Yes,
in the park or something?
I tried.
Yes, I did. I did it in the car on LTE.
Yeah,
and it was flawless. Like the video evidence speaks for itself. After the show, you guys can watch the video. Like it's there. Like that's why I wanted to do that video that way, because I could talk about it. But if you see it for yourself, you're gonna question your own eyes. Like you're seeing it for yourself. Like I'm in the car and it's running, and I have my finger. You can see when I'm making the movements and how quickly it's reacting on the screen. And I'm telling you that it's a very good experience. Now away from home is a tiny bit more lag, obviously, than when you're inside your house, but it's still imperceivable. It's still really, really low. Like if you want to be a stickler, sure, but you're not going to notice it. You're going to notice it maybe if you're playing Call of Duty, and I wouldn't recommend, the PlayStation Portal for any type of highly twitchy competitive game like Call of Duty multiplayer. Right. But for regular games, single player experiences, little indie games, anything that doesn't require you to go online and like play against people that, every millisecond counts, you're fine playing the PlayStation Portal. Now, the only downfalls that the system has, so I don't know how some people are like, oh yeah, it's so good, it's perfect. It's not a perfect device. Bluetooth is missing, which I think is a huge no-no. Like, I'll be honest, I ordered the proprietary headphones because, I want to have the full experience with this device. But that kind of annoys me because you're forcing me to get those headphones if I want to have like a truly good experience, because I don't want to put wired headphones in it. I don't like the fact that I can't stream games from the PlayStation Now or whatever, the network. They're cloud games. You can't do it on the device, and you can't, stream your native apps from the device like Netflix and stuff. So that's stuff. I'm sure some of that stuff's going to get patched in.
Yeah, D, I appreciate you saying that, because honestly, I really do think that that's on the way. I think that's stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe. I really, really do. And it's another odd thing that people have been questioning, wondering why they have like airplane mode on that thing. I don't even know why they would have airplane mode on it, right? Because if you put it on airplane mode, that cuts all Wi-Fi and LTE and everything else off.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
That is strange. Maybe that's some type of redundant feature in case you get locked in somewhere and you can't turn it off. The Wi-Fi off. I have no idea why they would do that. It makes no sense because you can't even add memory to it. There's not even a slot to add memory to it, right?
Yes.
We do know underneath it is an Android system, but that's kind of pointless. I will say this though. Just wait till the community gets their hands on this stuff. I'm pretty sure this thing is going to get hacked.
It might.
100%. Yeah.
I could definitely see that. So, Jay Barr, you heard what D had to say. Jay, what's your take on it? And by the way, I want to ask everybody in the chat, when you watch D and Jay Barry's reviews and mine that's coming out next week, don't judge us on our gameplay because, like D said, you're filming with one hand and you're trying to game with the other. I haven't found the proper iPhone holder that I can have my phone recording over. I've found something on Amazon. It's on the way. We'll see. But Jay, you heard what D had to say. What would you say you agree with, and what were in your findings that maybe D maybe didn't mention?
Oh no, majority of what he said I agree with. Is some of the stuff that I also has said about the product. Yeah, it's not a perfect product. It's more like a luxury complimentary device for your PS5.
Yeah.
The Bluetooth criticism I see, like I'm 50-50 on that, because as much as I say, I think you should add it just for the convenience of anybody that has a Bluetooth device that don't want to buy another $200 device to use it. So yeah, I'm total agreement with that part, but I also see like just having another frequency, like Bluetooth, and then you're streaming, from what your LTE or hotspot or Wi-Fi, that could probably interrupt with latency and all that stuff. But I don't know the ins and outs as far as that. I would normally go with the consumer and like, okay, yeah, I think they should add Bluetooth, or they should have added Bluetooth in there. But they're trying to push their whole PlayStation link thing.
Accessories, the link, yeah.
It didn't really like affect me too much because I was in the market looking for new headphones anyway, like a new earbuds.
Yes, me too.
And I was either going to buy, the Apple, Pros, but since they announced this one, I was like, you know what, let me wait, and I pre-ordered it, and I have that coming on the 6th or the 7th whenever it releases. But
I'll say this real quick: the specs on those headphones, if the specs are as good as they are, they should sound phenomenal. My point is that it's just really annoying that you're making me buy that, right? Just, you should have the option, but you do bring a good point about the Bluetooth. I have to look into that because that could be a legitimate reason why they didn't add it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dedicated like streaming device, so I don't know if that's like, I don't know. I'm just assuming, you know what I mean? Like, will it interrupt with like any type of connection or whatnot? But overall, my experience has been pretty good. I've been testing it. I've been playing a lot of games on it. I dedicatedly played Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be my game that I dedicate playing on the Portal as I, go to sleep, or just, as I wake up in the morning or whatnot. So yeah, I, restarted, Baldur's Gate 3, playing through that, and it been playing pretty good. Like I played Lies of P, that was pretty good. I can react pretty well on there. Tales of Arise, action RPG. I think that was one of the best ones that I played. Where it's a lot of colors and stuff splashing around as you fight, but I didn't feel any hitches. And I always wanted to be clear with people when it comes to like a streaming or a cloud dedicated device. You're not going to eliminate latency. How good the product is going to depend on how low you have that latency for. And so far with a Portal, a dedicated device, it definitely feels good. Where, yeah, I mean, obviously anybody that plays natively and they play a lot of games, you're going to notice latency there, but it's not going to be like game ending or detriment where you're going to be like, I can't use this product. You know what I mean? You can get your stuff done with it. But yeah, I like the screen. I think the screen looks amazing. I was actually shocked how good the screen looks.
It looks real good,
when you're
Jack.
playing these games.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Because I was in the ballpark, like, damn, no OLED, but people not going to want to pay that OLED money. But I mean, when I saw it, I was like, yo, this looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks nice.
You know what I mean? The startup and the boot up was pretty simple and clean. Just had me do the QR code with my app.
Yep.
And then boom, good to go. I am a little disappointed there's no browser dedicated on here.
Yeah, that's
a big no,
They-
especially for
because,
Wi-Fi in public.
a lot of
Exactly.
people.
Like I remote play a lot at work. So there's times where I use my phone to remote play a lot, and for me to go on my work Wi-Fi, it has that little prompt where it gets sent to the browser. You click the little click thing, and then you press OK,
Yep.
and then you're good to go. So I feel like that was like a miss right there for them. But like I said, my experience has been pretty good, man. Playing in the house, walking around, moving has been pretty good. I played it, with a mobile hotspot on my phone. That has been pretty good. Like I haven't really had any like hitches or anything like that from my playthroughs. I've been playing a lot of games on here. Returnal's another one I played. Even though, yeah, like Mooch made up a good point. Like when you're trying to showcase the stuff playing, like, yeah, we're in an awkward angle. Trying to show the thing. Yeah. So you're not gonna get the best gameplay, but you're just trying to show you that, yo, it feels good. It's playing good. Now you can see it for yourself.
Hey Jay, I gotta ask you and D a question here, Mr. Babbitt. You could chime in as well here, and don't get too comfortable because your opinion's really gonna matter as we get after we hear all the experiences. I want to hear from someone who's not necessarily as enthralled to pick this up. Ryan Landis says, Mooch, does it feel solid? Would it survive a drop to the floor? I myself would say if it's a carpeted floor from a couch distance, yes. If you're dropping it maybe from a kitchen island onto a harder surface, that's questionable.
Yeah.
I would say if you dropped it once, you'd probably be okay. I think if you dropped it twice, you'd crack something open.
Yeah.
Just by feeling the build quality.
There
of it,
are
right?
cases coming
But
out.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I ordered a case on Amazon. I think I posted on Twitter already, but I'll post it on X, whatever. It fits perfectly. It even has the grooves, for the hands, for the hands with the controller. It fits perfectly on it. And I also got a tempered glass screen protector for it. These are the must. You got a portable device, portable gaming device. You need to get a case for it, and you need to put tempered glass on it. That way, you're pretty much well protected. If you drops when it's in your hands or out your hands, at least your screen won't shatter because you got that tempered glass protecting it.
Hey Bari.
Yeah.
You said you were playing games like Returnal. That's a really fast and flowing game. Did you feel any network issues playing games like that, or did you feel like you could at least adapt to it, or how did that go?
Yeah, I didn't feel any network issues with Returnal. Like it was running pretty flawless. Obviously, I was playing at home. I didn't play Returnal like on my hotspot mobile. I was doing that on my home Wi-Fi, but it felt good. You know what I mean? Like I put the video out there on Twitter. You know what I mean? So, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, you just saying that because you just like PlayStation." But no, I have the evidence right here. Like if you can tell if anything is lagging, you see my fingers, you see me pressing the button.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I think the average gamer is probably not even going to notice it. They'll be like, what the hell? There's no lag at all. I think guys that have been gaming for years, you're going to know there's a little bit of lag because I don't know how to say it, man. It's just a memory that we have from playing games. However, the lag is so I'm just basing this off of playing it and what I've seen, not by measuring it, but I got pretty good eyes at catching these things. And I would say there's maybe 23 to 26 milliseconds ballpark of lag that's added from this device, which is really nothing in the scheme of things. And having playing games for so long and having muscle memory, you adapt to it real quickly. You don't even know that you're doing it. You just adapt. Yeah. So it's not an issue with this device. Let's just put that to rest. The latency is not an issue with the device. The downfall right now is that some people don't have good internet connection, or they're using a lower bandwidth frequency for their Wi-Fi, and they're running into some issues.
Yeah, because one thing I suggest to people as well, don't have the frequency settings as auto. Set it to 11 or something that is stationary, because majority of the people that's in your area, if you're in an apartment or whatever your neighborhood, they probably have that as auto, and that can mess up with bandwidth and all that stuff as well. But another thing I wanted to say too, I'm gonna shut up so I let Babbitt get his opinions out there, is I was very critical as far as the look of the product. It's it's just a DualSense with a screen in the middle. Yep. And when I was unboxing the joint and I picked it up for the first time, I was like, this makes sense. It does. It feels good. I couldn't even complain. And the things that people, I put out my opinions on this product before, where I said I don't think PlayStation need to go down this alley or this route. We put out a dedicated device, because the Vita, you could have did all this stuff and it was a dedicated hardware and all that stuff. And I still stand by that. But when I'm using this product, the DualSense features, the DualSense and the screen, this is by far the best remote play experience I have mentioned. I didn't play it on the Steam Deck. I didn't play it on Asus ROG, but I have it on I do remote play on my phone and my iPad, laptops. You don't get that DualSense immersion with a game. I'm playing a game like Returnal. All of the DualSense features is there. The alt triggers, I'm feeling it as I'm playing a remote play game, and I never experienced that before. So that's right. I think that's a big sell in it as well. Just having a dedicated device like this, it's smart. It works. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it, I'm gonna say. No, honestly, and Mr. Babbitt, you could pick up right where Jay left off. Also, welcome the great Jez7780 to the show. Yo. But I do want to say this much. You guys know this. You guys in the audience have heard me say this way before the product came out. I did have the Asus ROG Ally. I have the Steam Deck. Those devices I'm talking about just ergonomics and comfortability. After about 45 minutes, I just playing Diablo on the ROG Ally. I was just kind of I just put it down. It just, my hands, it's not comfortable. It was okay, I'm doing this. It was great. The experience was fine. No issues. I'm not talking about performance here. Just talking about comfortability to play the game. I played 2 hours last night with the PlayStation Portal, and it is the most comfortable device that I've played that is in quotes, a handheld. I understand it's not this, you have to be careful because there's handheld, full native, devices like ROG Ally, and Steam Deck. But
I do want to say one other thing, and Mr. Badbad, I'll pose you with the question. I watched a lot of big channels that reviewed this over the course of the last 48 hours on YouTube. Some people were saying this device was heavy. Either I'm extremely strong, or I didn't feel this was a heavy device at all. I thought it was very lightweight and very comfortable.
It's slightly a little bit heavier than the Switch OLED. From my weight comparison, it's very light.
But Jay, the reason I make the comment is because of the way the handles are on the DualSense on the sides. Maybe it's the cumbersome. Playing the Switch with the smaller Joy-Cons, your hands more cramped. I just felt this was just I don't know. I guess numbers don't lie. So
really comfortable. Yeah, I've had a Steam Deck. I've had a ROG Ally. This by far is the most comfortable.
Go ahead, Mr. Babbitt.
Yeah, no, Steam Deck's heavier. No, so my experience is, it's funny. I was talking on the trophy room this week, and kind of the end cap my first impressions of the device. It's like, this is a device that like I absolutely love, but can't give a strong recommendation for because it's so situational. So for example, like D, what you were saying earlier was like, oh, I hooked it up to my hotspot and had no issues. I tried to hook it up. So the first thing I did with it was play Liza P. Right in the room where I normally game. So I'm like, it's literally acting like a controller, right? And I was just playing it. I was like, wow, this looks great. It feels great. It runs great. And there was no discernible lag that I got to experience. Also, my PS5 is hardwired. So just to make that, a little asterisk, I have great connection. I got gigabit and all that. So I wasn't really experiencing any lag per se. All the deaths felt like they were on me and not the hardware, which is always a great plus. You hate when you're playing a game going, no, I know I did the right thing and I'm still being punished for it.
Right.
Me playing Liza P, it just felt like I was playing Liza P. Nothing was holding me back. Then I go downstairs. I'm on my lazy boy, and this is where I want to play this device. This is what I am planning on playing my device. Like watching Netflix and just chilling out with the doggo.
Absolutely.
And, fine. It's actually really beneficial because my knee, I had a really bad knee injury over the last weekend. So like, this is actually great. I've been post up and I'm just chilling out. I'm playing, what was the next game I played? Oh yeah, Sea of Stars on it. That's been actually the main driver. But then I was like, okay, listen, I'm playing the games I knew I would play, right? Like your Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, all that type of stuff that I was planning on playing on this runs great. I'm like, let's get Spider-Man up and running. I want to test out the DualSense features, and yeah, it's Spider-Man, y'all. It feels like Spider-Man. Are there hitches in some places? Sure. Like we were literally showing my father the tech earlier, and my brother started a new save, so he's at the intro level, and there was some hiccups, some hitches, but when you're playing on a device like this, like even my brother, who is not as savvy of a gamer as we, he's just like, it is what it is, whatever. This is cool that I get to do this. Right. Like we understand that there's going to be caveats. Then I tried to play down in the basement. Fine. So for what it's supposed to do for me, it's doing. Right.
That's right.
Staying in this house, being lazy, going on the toilet, playing Sea of Stars, all that works. I then
good for you, Mr. Babbitt.
What's that?
Yes, good for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. And it was a good movement. Anyway, so I go. You know what? I want to get my basic white bitch on. I want to go to a Starbucks. Right. I want my pumpkin spice latte before it goes. And see, someone's just like, I'm out. No way. Persona's like, I'm out of here. And I try to hook it up to the Starbucks Wi-Fi. No dice. I was like, okay, well, shucks, but Starbucks Wi-Fi is not very great anyway.
Now it didn't connect. It didn't connect to it, Mr. Badbit, or it just was poor performance.
No, it did not connect in the slightest.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask is I think it can't do anybody that has like a website that you need to go to, like a hotel or something like that, because it doesn't have a built-in browser.
Right. That's what we were saying. Yep.
Yeah. And maybe that's why like the browser thing is important, right? Because it's like it's like whoa,
yes, it is.
Like the Hilton requires it. So that's what I was also thinking as well, Jez. And then I got into my car. I was like, okay, let me put the hotspot on, and it was just not finding my hotspot for the life of me, so I didn't really get to test it. And that's the one thing about this the system that is, it's a first gen system. When something doesn't work right, I gotta restart the entire system. So, for example, like something was being a little finicky. The Wi-Fi was being a little finicky, so it was being weird. I couldn't connect to any Wi-Fi afterwards, so I restarted the machine, started to work better the next time around. You know, sometimes the system button that has the little control panel that pops up didn't want to work. I restart the system, those things pop right back up. So it's a little finicky for sure. But even with all like the little blemishes, for what I want to use it for, this thing does a really great job doing those things. And, you know, to hearken what Jay Bari was saying earlier, you know, the setup is simple. You know, getting this thing to run, it literally takes like a minute because it has to just do one update and then you're ready to go. But the one thing I really liked about it was the little system tab that you get to pop open, and you get to hop on whatever PlayStation 5 you currently have. So we have 3 PlayStation 5s in my house, and you just hit that tab and you go, which PlayStation do I want to connect to? And that's all the setup you have to do for it. That's what I really, really like about this little handheld. So to me, it's where it works really fine. If I try to connect it to or disconnect my PlayStation 5 and just go off of Wi-Fi, that's where we start entering into, yeah, I'm definitely noticing a little bit of lag. Is it the end of the world? No, but I'm noticing it. It's there. I can sense the delay. So for me, it's like if you're a wired PlayStation, you know, if you have a wired PS5 and you use remote play actively, this is the product for you. For me, when it comes to like how it looks, I don't care how this thing looks. I don't care the weird like faces that I'm going to get in public. When you pull out the Switch, people are going to look at you weird. So it doesn't really matter to me. That's why I loved the design since day one. Yeah. Because I'm like, it's going to be a DualSense. And it's a DualSense. The only thing that's different is the analog sticks are smaller. That's it.
Like the VR ones.
And they're barely small. Actually, Jez, you did a comparison. I watched your video of the unboxing as well. You held up the DualSense Edge, actually. It's a little smaller than the DualSense, but they are larger than the VR sticks.
Oh, they are larger than the VRs? Okay.
It's
I just pulled the ones off of the Edge.
They're bigger than the VR,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
they're like in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they are definitely a little smaller than the Edge controllers. I like because I popped off the thing, I put it next to it. I popped off the analog stick to show next to it.
But I will say from the engineering part, it feels just right though.
It does
right size that it should be.
And you know the thing is too, like I said that this thing will be the most ergonomic portable device because it is a controller with a screen rather than a screen with controllers.
Right.
And that's why this one it's an ergonomic device. Like I would even think, you know, future things, thinking like using it and stuff. I'm like, even if you were able to turn the screen off and use it as a regular DualSense with your PlayStation, like as another controller, that would be another function for it. Like instead of getting an Edge, you could just get this and use it as a regular controller if you could turn the screen off.
With YZP, I was just like, yeah, I
just turn it off. Like there's a lot of cool things.
Controller underneath me, and I'm just playing YZP.
There's another thing I wanted to say. You know, because a lot of people's like saying like, why isn't the PlayStation 5 streaming is not enabled on here? They did say that they are adding that in the future like update or whatnot.
Yep.
But like remote play and a PlayStation 5 streaming is kind of the same thing. It's just different how the servers work. So remote play uses your own PlayStation as a server to push the game to whatever device, where the PlayStation 5 streaming or, you know, PS Now or whatnot, you know, they have their own server racks that they push towards your PS5. So the functionality of it is kind of the same, but it's just like a little bit different as far as like what is a server. But like I tried to access like, you know, streaming through remote play. And it activates it, but you can't see on your screen because I got a prompt that was like saying that, oh, you're inactive for 5 minutes. We're going to shut this down. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know it was active.
Yeah, it's like a pop-up.
I couldn't see it in the screen. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to come later on, but right now it's not there, but I did see somebody tweet out. I forgot the name of the person. They said that it was coming at a later update or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now I got a couple of super chats here, and I do want to get the great person. No, Mr. Babbitt, did you have something else you wanted to add to it? I do have.
Overall, again, like I love this device. It definitely speaks to me. And I just want to say it. And though it speaks to me, it really is. It's very situational. So, like, you know, if you have great internet, if your console's plugged in wired, and if you're a remote play user, this is what this console's or this handheld peripheral is made towards you. So I really like what annoys me is like those like comments of like or the articles of like, well, who is this really made for? It's like we just answered it. People that use remote play. Like that's what this is.
Well, I think it also broadens that group because I was not a big fan of playing on my phone, and what a difference a 6.1 versus an 8-inch screen does for you. It is a big difference.
But that I'm going to tell you, Mooch, that screen, whatever 1080p 60 frames per second panel they're using, that thing is sharp looking, especially when you're in your home network and you got the full, the full bandwidth needed. Because I did notice that the resolution does drop a little bit when you're using a mobile hotspot. But like when you're around the house and you're like looking at that screen, I got to say, like, it's not an OLED, but my goodness, it is sharp looking.
It is.
When you have a good connection.
It's a really, really good IPS panel.
Yeah, it really is. I was surprised.
It's
like
sharp.
I don't know if you guys have Tales of Arise, but if you have it, boot up Tales of Arise and just look at the game, because it's a game that's very colorful. You know what I mean? Very artsy type game. And it pops on the screen, man. Imagine this shit with OLED.
Stuff pops.
Oh my God.
I know, right? It does pop on that screen. I'm so surprised because the color 1080p now. It's like
I really want the calibrators and colorists to take a look at that screen, because to my eyes it was extremely accurate, man.
I know, it's pretty wild. That was the thing that screen is very I know people complain it's not OLED, but I guess keep costs down and stuff.
You don't okay, OLED, we'd have higher contrast, sure, and you'd have better blacks.
Deeper blacks, yeah.
But with that said, for the price that you paid for this, you're not looking at that screen thinking anything bad about it.
No way. No, I was surprised. They did not cheap out on the screen. They did do a good job on that screen. That's one thing that really stood out, was like the screen, especially when you have your home connection on it.
Yeah. My only real gripe is that it's white. It should be black, because that's just going to get so crusty easily.
Yeah.
That's very possible.
I bought like a case thing. It's like a clear case that surrounds the.
I saw that.
DualSense,
yep.
Yeah, I bought that, and I bought a case. The case comes a little bit later though, which I'm kind of disappointed. But the little shell thing comes in on Monday. So
yeah, I want the carrying case. I don't necessarily mind so much the coating that you have there, that grip case. But I do want to have the carry case, Jay, and I definitely am ordering the one that you gave me. I appreciate the recommendation.
Like I see because like I said, I go into the office, a couple of times in a month.
Yep.
And I do see myself, carrying, and I use remote play a lot in the office. And the fact that I'm traveling with it, I don't want nothing to drop or something fall in it, so I want to make sure it's covered up.
The case that you got is it specific for that, or is it like just some generic case?
The shell is specific for the portal, but the case I think is just like it can fit the ROG, it can fit whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure. I gotta look into that.
But the one that
you're talking about the carry case.
The carry case that you sent me though, Jay, it did show it showed the portal in the picture.
Yeah, because the carry case is very important, because I know that there's like a lot of companies that sell different type of cases, right? Especially on Amazon. And there's some that will say, oh yeah, it fits the portal because, maybe technically the Rogue Ally case does fit the portal, but it doesn't have the cutouts within inside of it to really hold the portal in place, yes. Right? So that's very important.
Yeah, I'm shocked Sony didn't come out with that accessory. That would have been something that they could have made some money on day one. I mean, me being just the fanatic I am with something like that, I would definitely have bought the case with the product.
If and when they allow you to be able to stream your content, like your videos and whatever that's on your PlayStation, because you have the rights to it, you're logging into your PlayStation, so only you have the codes to it, so clearly you're the owner of it, so I don't see why they wouldn't allow that. And when they allow PlayStation games, hopefully, to be streamed, like this device, it's just going to be even harder than it is right now. And if you look everywhere, because I always track everything that's in stock, this thing is out of stock. It's out of stock. It pops in and out of Amazon. Like you get like everywhere. 1, 2, 3 and if you're fast enough to hit your finger on it, maybe you'll catch one. But apart from that, it's sold out. PlayStation, what's it called? PlayStation Direct, whatever it's called in the States, they're sold out of it. In the UK, they're sold out of it. In Canada, Best Buy, Amazon, sold out of it. So this is going to be the hot item for the holiday season. And just remember, there's a lot of people that own PlayStation 5s. And, when you see videos out there and people like myself talking about it, saying how it is, it's going to be a really hot device, at least in the near future.
And, a lot of people don't like to say it.
Everybody's going to return it when you can't play it on in the hotel.
What did you say?
What was that?
Everybody's going to return it after the holidays when they realize.
Yeah, well, I don't know what people are saying, but the bottom line is honestly, the bottom line is know what you're buying. Know that you have the equipment to run it properly. And, once you have, proper bandwidth, you have high speed internet, you shouldn't be experiencing, any type of real problems with it.
And
honestly.
the one thing I said too as well, I know a lot of people. It's sometimes it's a hard thing. It's a bit maybe a jagged pill to swallow right now. But realistically, when you're thinking about a holiday gift you're getting for someone, especially if they're a gamer, $199 these days. That's I don't think that's even asking too much to put something under the tree or however you celebrate.
I think it's fairly priced. Anything higher than 200 is suicide.
Yeah, because that was like with that G Cloud, man, $350 for that thing. That was a lot. And I know it's still an Android device, but like.
I'm honestly shocked that it was sold out because the energy was like, this is a garbage device. We don't want this.
It's very specific, yeah.
But it was selling out quick. People can't even walk in and buy it. It's gone.
It was kind of a slow sale, to be honest with you, because I see the units that get sent out. They sent out a lot, like thousands of units, man.
Yeah,
and it was a slow
lot out.
Yeah, it was a slow sale, and then about a month before the PlayStation Portal was coming out, that's when everything started to ramp up, and that's when they started to just dry up.
Yeah, I got that. So shout out to Carlos Crespin. He says The Last of Us 2 Remastered, get hyped. We're going to talk about that. Victory says, Mooch, you got to get X-Vault Gaming on. You just have to. I'll definitely reach out. We'll see, Victory. God Emperor Sofa King, and this is my lead-in right now to the great Persona. He says, there's no way you all are capping for this scam. Persona, listen, you've heard the good, the bad, and the ugly. And people have mentioned everything there. We wish there was a browser. Some people wish that Bluetooth was there. Jay Barry brought up a great point on why it may not be there. But Persona from a different angle, and I'm actually going to sit back.
I'm just assuming because I know how the internet works.
No, I said it was just...
you're just capping, you're coping, or whatever the words they use.
Yeah,
I'm just bringing a point up to assume, like, okay, maybe this is why.
No, I
don't know.
I just mean you made a good point. It's a valid reason. Is it the reason? No, we're speculating.
I'll see.
Go ahead, Dee, real quick. I do want to get to Persona's point.
Oh no, go to this point. No, sorry.
Okay, ahead, Persona. I want to hear where is it, especially with the enthusiasm you have for a lot of new tech and gadgets. Why is it after you hear everyone on the panel right now, is this clearly not a device for you?
Yeah, man. So when it comes to the PlayStation Portal. I said this from day one that, and Barry knows this and Mooch knows this as well.
Yeah.
I think cloud streaming and remote play and all that stuff are great advancements when it comes to gaming and great alternatives to gaming, but that's never really something that I've ever wanted to be at the forefront of how I game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to handheld devices, I've always wanted PlayStation to do a true successor to the Vita. Although, it wasn't supported the way it should have been, I feel like they could have learned from their mistakes and put out, a third Vita, and, it'd be what it is. When it comes to the Portal, I just was disappointed that they went with just it being a dedicated remote play device as opposed to being something that you could play natively. Obviously, the price for something like that would have to go up in the hundreds. Like we're talking maybe 400, 500, 600,
right? If
we want to have something that you could play natively. But I was willing to pay something like that for a true handheld.
Yes.
Obviously, this is supposed to only be like a companion or a companion to the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm just not. I'm just not there. When it comes to it, for me, I'm just not really there when it comes to the excitement that I see a lot of people have for it. I know Barry, he keeps telling me like, yo, trust me, bro, like it's dope. And even like the videos that I've seen and stuff that I've seen, it looks cool. Like it looks like a really interesting accessory. Just right now, I just don't really see that as being something that I want to put money towards. Because of how I feel.
The reason why I say that I tell Persona all the time, because Persona, that's my bro. We play a lot of RPGs. This is a perfect RPG product. You know what I mean? Especially if you're just doing your little lazy gaming and chilling wherever you got to do. It's the perfect RPG type device. You know what I mean? But
I'll say this real quick. I kind of hear you, but Sony failed miserably with the Vita, and the support was pretty poor for it. And now with them moving, to a different architecture, they don't want to have to scale something past a PlayStation 5. So I don't think you're going to see a real true, if they do it portable from Sony, until they could do that in handheld form that has the PlayStation 5 power. So you'd be waiting a while for that. Now
they feel snake bit with the Vita, like what happened with the Vita. I think they feel a little gun shy, even though this is like a different market today. I don't think it would do good, because what type of power would it be offering, right? Where you have the Rogue Ally and you have all these other devices. So I just don't think it's a market for them right now. And I think this is actually a good strategy because it's working. It's selling out. And it works really good. And if you have a PlayStation 5 and you want to play your games in another room or somewhere else, or at your buddy's house, you're able to do that. So I think it does scratch the itch for some gamers. And I would really describe this product as a product that you didn't think that you needed.
Yeah.
The reason why I disagree with that is because if that was the case, PlayStation would be putting their games on PC. And these games are. A lot of PlayStation games are becoming deck verified. So, I don't really agree with that concept of, PlayStation couldn't put something out there that could scale where the games could scale. I said that originally in my thing that, it would cost hundreds of dollars, but my mindset is just, when it comes to cloud streaming or anything like that, I'm not at the forefront of that, where I feel like that's something that I want to put a lot of time or effort into. I'll try it, I'll play it, if I have to, but in terms of like the portal and things like that, I just don't really, as of right now, I'm not really sold on, I'm not really I
hate to be the crusher of dreams, but that portable that you're looking for, man, I don't know, man. You're going to be waiting a long time. You might be 60.
I don't think Persona actually cares if what he's saying even comes out. He don't care. He's saying that's what he would.
He just doesn't want to go into our remote.
He just doesn't feel like being cloud.
Have you tried it though? Have you tried it?
No, I don't have it.
So you need to try it first and then decide. I think that's the best way to look at it than just to be outright. I don't want to do it because it's
Persona wasted $200 on other things. When they restock this motherfucker, you definitely need to go get that portal.
Hey, Persona, listen.
At the very worst, you could just return if you don't like it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I'm a big proponent of that. You go out there, give it a shot. All of these stores are now very vocal.
Return that friggin' alley. I burned my SD card.
I returned the alley.
Times.
Kept my.
You see how cool he sounds? He's like, I'm just not interested in it. Watch when you get that product in your hand. Yo, oh my god.
Hey, listen, Ryan, you know me. I'm just not. I'm not as interested as everybody else. Like I am
gonna say it is pretty wild when you put it in your hand and it feels just like the PlayStation DualSense. Like you're just like, whoa, wait a second. Like it is pretty.
I was shocked, bro.
Yeah, it is pretty wild when you put it. You're like, wait, this just feels just like it really is a very smart, and it's a silly design when you look at it, but it's so simple. It's like just put a screen on a controller and there you go, and take your library with you. And that's another thing I think where a lot of people are probably buying this is because you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to buy new games for it, you don't have to worry about what the launch lineup is because everything that you own on PlayStation is now come with you. Yes, varying based on like what the internet is and where it's accessible and all that other stuff. But basically everything that you bought, all your things, everything you subscribe to, it's all there. All your plus games, all your games that you bought, all your DLC, it's all there. You don't have to worry about does it have a cross buy and this and does it support this system? My save, does it come over? That's why.
Like I said, like everything that I've seen from it, from from Bari, Mooch, J-Dub, and a lot of people in the community. It looks cool, man. Like it definitely looks like a very interesting device. Bari, we did some testing with like party chat and stuff like that, and he showed off some gameplay. It looks good. It looks definitely solid, but I'm kind of like, I feel how I feel.
If
I'm like,
I'm going to give you a little though of what I've been experiencing. So one thing that, from my unique experience here, the one thing I don't like, and I know it's the limitation of probably what they have their setups, but the profiles, like if you have multiple profiles on your PlayStation, you cannot just go into another profile and say, here you go, son, play your games on there, because then you got to log out of the device and use the app to log back into that profile in order for them to use those games. You can't just go into the PlayStation that you're in and swap profiles so that you can play your son played, like, somebody else try their profile out. So if you are doing a lot of profiles on a PlayStation and you got one PlayStation for the family, it's going to be definitely a system of trying to have everybody, you got to log out of the whole portal and reconnect, like as if it's like restarting again. So that's just something to keep in mind, because I have my son that, he has his profile there, and I'll be like, that's great to play his games, but then I got to log back in with the app. You can't just type it in, you got to use the app. You use the QR code, and then you log into your profile. It resyncs back to the PlayStation, and then you could only use your profile. You cannot switch. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you have multiple profiles on a PlayStation, the portal only could work with one profile at a time. You'll have to log out of the whole thing and kind of reactivate it to do that, and that could be some time. So that's just one scenario that I noticed. I think it's just the way they have it.
Another thing too, Jez, like when you're home and you have say the Pulse headphones or the H9s or whatever headphones you have hooked up to whatever dongle that PlayStation has, you can just hook up you can connect your headset to the portal, because I have an H9s. I have the dongle plugged into the back, and right away I can just turn on my H9s and use that and have that.
So wait, you plug it into the portal, or do you plug it into the PlayStation?
No, it's in the play. Okay, remember the portal's just reading everything you.
It's reading it. So you have the dongle in the PlayStation. You could use the Pulse headsets, and because the latency is low where you are, you're not getting the sound lagging on that.
No sound lagging.
Nah, that's
I was doing party chat with Persona with it as well, where I did the actual mic for the portal is like the same mic as DualSense. So it's not like a great mic or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. Switched over to the H9. He's like, oh yeah, I definitely hear the quality change in the headset.
And that's another thing too. Another couple things, because I tried remote play on I had the Ally, the Steam Deck, the Legion Go. I had the I tried it on a laptop and stuff like that. So these are the plus and minuses. Like when you have a laptop or a computer, you need to have a DualSense with you. Same thing goes if you use the official PlayStation app on the on an Asus Ally or one of those portable computers. You need to use the controller unless you use the Shikiri app, which is kind of you have to there's a little configuration to do it, but then you can use the native controllers on there. One thing though the portal does that none of these do, which was really cool, is that if you turn on the portal, it automatically turns on the PlayStation that you were using last and kind of just logs into it. One thing, though, to keep in mind is if you shut down the portal, it doesn't turn off your PlayStation. You're going to have to turn it off inside the actual application when you're in it to turn it off that way, because then the PlayStation just stays on. Another cool thing is that if you turn off the portal while you're you're playing and then you turn it off, you hit put it in sleep mode, it actually will just turn off the screen, and then when you click on it, if it's within a minute or so, it'll just take you right back to where it is, portal you right back into the screen. Those are things that the other applications that I've used don't really do unless you minimize windows and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So there is some sort of communication there that may be unique to what the portal's doing, but that's something I noticed from playing on there. And again, it's the if you want that PlayStation experience, and the biggest thing too, the DualSense, the fact that all those triggers and everything works, the analog triggers, it's pretty unwielding that you're getting that same effect on that screen. Doing what was I playing? I was playing Madden on there and just realizing, when you're doing and that's the thing, I was watching Thursday Night Football playing Madden on the thing, rather than turning off Thursday Night Football and then that's using the whole TV to do that.
I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, especially in the gaming world, but sports if you're a sports fanatic,
well, I'm
like
watching the Giants. I'll tell you that.
Well,
Holy crap!
I'm watching other
We'll
things.
see them next year.
Yeah, well, that's next year. But I got a couple.
We don't mention the Giants.
We're not. Yeah,
the Giants are done. Yeah, we don't talk about.
Let me do this real
we'll
quick,
see them
guys.
next year.
I got a couple super chats here, and I do want to move on. The great Persona said we're only going to hit a maximum of 3, and I think he's going to hit the jackpot tonight. Shout out to the great Andy Hardy. Says, really looking forward to Arizona Sunshine 2 on PSVR 2 as well. Stoney says, seeing the Portal on Amazon for up to $490. Really unfortunate to see scalpers.
Man, they don't
really,
stop.
really
Ridiculous.
unfortunate. What will the panel say is the best feature? Bone Slave, we kind of already went through all that. I really don't want to.
I would recommend buying it over 200. So.
Wait for it to be in there. Don't. It's not a need like that. Nobody.
I think PlayStation Direct restocks. I think they said November 22nd.
Yeah, honestly, one of the big perks. One of the big perks to this thing is the $199 price tag. Don't pay $1 over that. So shout out to Magnum Gaming comes in with a good question. If you have physical copies of your games, can you access a digital version from the portal? I'm not really sure what he means by that. I know that if you have a physical disc in your PS5, you can play that physical disc.
Yeah.
But you can't just all of a sudden poof turn your physical into digital.
I mean, all of these features on these consoles or PC is it benefits digital gaming. So like physical stuff is you can't take advantage of that stuff because remote play is just like mirroring your PlayStation 5, what you're doing on a different device. That's all it is.
So the disc that's in your PlayStation, that's the one that's going to get access. You're going to have someone at home say, hey, I got to play a different game. I'm at work. Put it in.
So
imagine somebody buying the port of like, I can't access my physical game. Like what?
Somebody has to go home.
If you guys do have other questions, put them in the chat, and I'll get to the portal questions at the end of the show.
One thing too, Mooch. Another thing too is if somebody else is using the PlayStation and you want to remote play from that PlayStation, you won't be able to do that.
No, you can't. It's one.
No.
Just again, it's what Jay Barr
one
said.
profile at a time.
You're mirroring your PS5. So if you are using your PS5, somebody else can't use your PS5. That's
exactly.
Just, it's the same
just being clear, because this is just a remote version of it, but it's a very effective remote. And when you're in the house, I'm telling you, I was 3 floors up, and I just turned it on, and I was like, wow, the screen looks really good. That's the one big thing, standout feature is the screen and the DualSense functioning, because that is the unique thing about it, because you don't get that with any other controllers, any other ways. The backbone, the strap-ons, all those things they put on these friggin' phones. You don't get that kind of interaction. So if you're a DualSense junkie, this definitely is for you.
It's crazy too because I like the backbone, but I always said the backbone was too pricey, like $100 for that product. I was like, that's a little too much.
And it's small too. I do
think the portal is priced just right. You know what I mean? With the
DualSense, backbone is great. The backbone is great. It works well, especially since you can go anywhere as long as you have a cell signal. But for me, the problem is it takes up my cell phone. So anytime I get a text and I want to interact with somebody, I have to log back out of my profile, turn off the streaming, and then it's a pain in the butt.
That's the benefit of having a dedicated device because. Yeah, like if you're using your cell phone, on your remote playing, you get a text message, you get a call, it bumps you right out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
log back in. Yeah, it's a pain, but it's a pain.
All right, so I got the great Face 23. Guys, this is big news. This came out about an hour and a half before the show went live. This is kind of a big thing. Shout out to Face 23 for the great super chat. He says, Last of Us Part 2 Remix confirmed by Sony, January 19th release date. $10 upgrade path, roguelike survival mode, no return, previously cut levels, tech improvements. Listen, you guys know I have an entire shelving behind me of just Last of Us stuff.
That is great. That $10 upgrade, dude.
$10 upgrade.
Yes.
Whoa, that's a game changer right there.
Yes. So I'm in. I mean, listen, you guys don't want to hear me. I was going to buy it anyways, but like $10, sign me up twice. I think it's a great price.
Wait, Mooch, wait a second. There's also Lost Levels.
Yes. Yeah. And a new game mode.
New content.
When this news dropped, I was like, oh my gosh, man, I like what a cash grab. Sure, it's great to see this game running on the PlayStation 5, but at that point, it's like it's a cash grab. Like you're not treating your customers well. But a $10 upgrade, man, what can you say? You're gonna get better performance on the PlayStation 5. You're gonna get lost levels. You're gonna get new content. It's gonna look a lot better. And to be honest with you, I stopped playing the game because I just couldn't deal with the 30 FPS. So I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till it goes on PC. And
well, they added the 60 frames, I thought, to the PS5 version, didn't they? I thought they did.
That was because you was playing the PS5 through backwards compatibility.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So they did add 60. Did they add 60 to The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5?
Yeah, it was update. It was like a backwards compatibility update.
I think it's just. I don't think it's a cash grab. I think it's just. I mean, $10 absolutely.
No, $10 is not the cash grab. It was full price. They were asking again. Come on, that would have to be questionable. But the $10 upgrade path for people that own the game already. That's fantastic. You can't complain about that.
Graphical enhancements, lost levels, full dual sense, because that's the one thing that I don't think they did because we're playing the PS4 version. New outfits and something else. What the hell does that say? There's something else on there. I can't really say it.
Shout out to the great Jeff Grubb. Jeff Grubb's in the chat. Jeff, I'm only seeing who you're answering to. He says they did. Are you referring to? Oh, here it is. I'm at the airport, Mooch. Have a good show. All right, he said he was. I asked Jeff to come on the show tonight. Jeff, travel safe. He's traveling out to visit some family. So, Jeff, we'll hope to get you on the show maybe sometime in December or after the new year. Looking forward to his return. But yeah, no, that is really, really great. And by the way, some people in the chat are asking, does the $10 include the new game mode, this and that? The article and everything I'm just seeing does include all of that.
Yes. Everything is a $10 upgrade for all that stuff.
It's a full upgrade.
Yeah, that's actually
survival mode.
Like optimally, you'd like it to be free because like on other platforms when they do stuff like this, your game just upgrades for free. But considering, I'm just going to be honest here, how Sony has been doing this in the past and kind of cash grabbing, I'll say that the $10 upgrade is fine, man.
I didn't think we were going to see that again. After The Last of Us Part 1, I didn't think we would see that.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Very, 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 very consumer friendly for sure. Like the $10
like
upgrade
consumer neutral. You know, it's like, okay, it's $10. At least you're giving me new content that I never played before.
Yeah,
you're giving me some type of like, you know, if you squint, you can see the difference between the PS4 and the PS5 version. But at least you're giving me new content. You know, that's the real important thing here. Also, I would just like to say a shout out to PlayStation Direct that hates me and will never ship to my house from whatever reason. Because I would have gone out and bought that Steelbook. I'm a slut for Steelbooks. And
how ironic is that? You run a PlayStation podcast, and if anybody PlayStation should directly be dealing with, it's you.
It's a big running joke.
Jay and Persona are like, I hear you, believe me. He's like, I'll take they're like, give me my shit too.
I do have to jet. I gotta be. It's my turn to babysit the doggo. She's only 2 months old.
Oh, the dog. Absolutely, you gotta take care of it, Mr. Babbitt. Great dog. Absolutely, Mr. Babbitt. Thanks for being here, buddy. Let everybody know where they can find you. While quick little outro, please.
Yeah. So you can find me over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. You can check out that show each and every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to catch us live, or if you want to catch us on the main feeds. It's each and every Thursday. This week, we talk about the Suicide Squad and how we're the only two people excited for it. We talk about Jeff's show and how he loves AI so much that he made those lists with ChatGPT. And of course, we talk about my hands-on impressions with the PlayStation Portal. But y'all, thank y'all so much for having me. And link, PS Trophy Room on Twitter. Link to the Platties or somewhere there. A vote. It's a really fun time. We like to, shout out the developers, the studios, the people that make these games that we love each and every year. And honestly, this year haven't gotten enough love. So head on over there, vote to see who wins your or the game of the year for us. So everybody, thank you all for having me, and I'll catch you. I'll catch you in a few weeks.
Absolutely, Mr. Babbitt. Thanks for being here, buddy. And of course, I'll reach out and enjoy your Thanksgiving as well.
Likewise, everybody here.
Absolutely,
enjoy it.
Thank you,
Mr. Babbitt. Take care.
So, if anyone wants to chime in on this, the fact that it was breaking news, and I was going to bring up The Last of Us 2 because it was news earlier today, but then everything someone said, why didn't they wait for the Game Awards with this? This was leaked. right? Was this leaked by accident by
Yeah, so it was,
I think it was by Sony themselves.
The thing is,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't.
No?
So
What happened?
it was
It
leaked.
was in the
I think
database.
from like actually from the database, but
Oh,
they
damn.
kind of forced their hand because like so much more information came out later today that they were like, you know what, screw it. And Neil Druckmann's like, we're just gonna drop the information. So they dropped it.
It was probably
And
leaked-
it's
it was
there's a
leaked from-
PlayStation blog article.
They'll probably
and
have the
everything,
PC
everything.
announcement at the game.
No, but it was leaked from the PlayStation Store, and they grabbed the information. I guess whoever works at YouTube, they got that. I don't know how they got the YouTube video, but they got it up there on the Inside Gaming joint. But yeah, like I don't think this was going to be a Game Awards announcement because the information was too much. Like like it might have been because
I
it's coming
think
out
it
in
would've.
January 19th.
I
They
think
might
it
have been.
would've.
So, do we have any word on the PC? Because it would make sense to release a PC at the same time, right? Because
No.
No, I didn't see any
Yeah.
PC
Don't mention
announcement
a
in the
PC.
blog article.
Wow.
Well, now let me ask you guys a quick question. And the great Jeff Grubb may be listening
Good.
still before I was plane is taking off. I wanted to have it. I have the article here. So, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Jeff, I have his quotes here. I'll read them in a second because I like to read Jeff's quotes verbatim. I don't just take Jeff's quotes and then just say, "Oh, he meant this." So people do that all the time in the news to him, and I don't do that. So let me just read these real quick here, right from. I believe this is from, and I give them credit too, Insider Gaming. They were the first, I believe, to say this is what Jeff Grubb said, and they said Knights of the Old Republic remake is dead. Jeff said, I just want to clear it up. This game is not being worked on right now, end quote. He said, just full stop. This game is not being worked on in any way at any studio. So that's what Jeff had to say about this. That's quoted. So my question to, and I'll start with Jay Bari. Bari, my point is this: Sony paid a lot to get to the rights to this. They were also going to publish a part of it. This, I don't think it's dead. I definitely think it's, now I'm going to use the right terms, on ice. It's not being worked on. I believe Jeff. It's not being worked on. So this might be a game that comes out at the end of the generation, but I don't see them just dropping this. Jay, do you think it's dead?
No, I think what Jeff reported makes sense because I think Aspire was the original developer and they parted ways. You know, obviously they probably wasn't happy with what they were doing. So they parted ways. And one thing PlayStation is known for is if they're going to cancel something, they're going to let you know. So if the game is canceled, the information is going to come out soon for it. But I mean, we'll see.
Right,
but yeah,
right.
I do think that this is nobody's working. It makes perfect sense because the developer that was they parted ways with that. And yeah, we haven't heard from the game in a long time. And yeah, we just got to see what's going on. It's definitely sad to hear.
Absolutely.
Because KOTOR, that was a big get for them. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm not surprised by the news because once I saw the first article as far as like they got rid of the studio.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a studio right away so quickly like that. I don't know.
No, you're not.
I wasn't surprised.
I agree. Now, Persona, what's your expectations on this game right now? Is it low? Do you think it'll be coming sometime later in the generation, or do you think it is dead?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Barry said. I just think they're probably trying to look for another developer. So right now it is on ice because nothing's being worked on, and whatever Aspire showed them for them to kind of just like straight up be like,
No.
nah, we're leaving. Like, you're done. Like, we're cutting you off this project.
Yes.
It had to be really, really bad. And stuff like this I actually appreciate from PlayStation because
Facts,
they have that foresight
Yes.
to kind of see and be like, yeah, this isn't good. And this is not up to par with our standards.
Yep.
I appreciate them willing to go to those levels. So I think with something like this, it's on ice. And who knows, this might be something we don't see until next generation.
That's a really good point. I kind of want to bring that up. It's something that we always talk about when Nintendo, when the whole crash came down. What was it? The late to mid 80s. Brap, you always talk about this. And then Nintendo came out and they put that seal of quality on the outside of all their boxes to let people know that when you're going to spend $60, $70, $80 on a video game, you're going to get a quality product. Persona really kind of re-emphasized that. We take news of a permanent delay, not a cancellation, but a permanent delay or on ice, as a lot of people like to say now, as a negative. but Persona actually kind of spun that in a positive. I don't really feel like buying garbage. So if the quality folks and the people that make the decisions that are doing their job say that they're not impressed, that's the same thing we heard, I believe, with the story with Yoshida with God of War, right? They brought the God of War to him. He said, this is not at all what I would put on my platform. Go back and do it again, or go back and fix this. So Persona makes a point that maybe people are doing their jobs and actually looking out for the consumer, and they're actually looking out for their brand name. It's kind of a twofold. So there's two ways to look at it. I still think this thing ends up maybe coming up, and I think it comes out like maybe 2027, 2028. This thing could come out way
at the end of the day, PlayStation, they need to let people know what's coming out for first party or like these partnership games. Like been way too quiet. You know what I mean? That's been the sentiment for a lot of people.
I think marketing has just changed. It's on such a shorter schedule now. Like, to be like, I'm having deja vu. This is the exact conversation we were having last year. Like, we don't know what's happening next year. It looks like a completely empty year. This sucks. And look what just happened. We just had like one of the greatest years we've ever had. So like at this time last year, we didn't know jack either. You know,
it's a good point.
Yeah, I think they're learning, like, by announcing games and release dates. Like, if you miss that release date, you lose a lot of kind of mind share and market share. Like, you know, so maybe
the attention spans are a lot smaller these days.
Yeah,
the information is so fast. I think you're not going. It's no longer like a 6 month window. It's like you don't really see the 30-day ramp up. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so let me, and like I said, I'm trying to get through a couple of these topics here. We did spend a lot of time on the portal, but I really think that was an important part of the show. We have the Xbox tax we're still going to get to, and now we're going to start with the Game Awards real quick, which will kind of bleed into that. D, I'll start with you, D. D, what do you think? The Game Awards. You saw the 6 announced games. What do you think? Were you okay with what you saw, or do you think that a few games? This is not just a Starfield thing. I mean, Starfield seems to be the conversation piece. There's a few games that kind of got snubbed.
Yeah. I'll say this. I don't know if 2 Nintendo games needed to be on there, to be honest with you. And I've played both Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm playing Mario Wonder World right now with my son. And Mario's a fantastic game. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's not freaking Game of the Year though. And either is Zelda to me. Like those games, as good as they are, they got too many flaws for me to overlook it. And, you know, maybe I'm not your average Joe and I'm a little bit more technical, but just the frame rate on that system and just the graphics in 2023 looking like that, I just can't do it, man, no matter how good it plays. So, you know, I don't know if 2 Nintendo titles need to be there. I think Starfield should have made the cut. Now, with that being said, in all honesty, Starfield's not Game of the Year either. So I don't know how much it really matters when you see that Jedi Survivor was kept out of it. When you see Hogwarts was kept out of it.
That's just not,
there's so many games that were kept out of it. And if you want me to be completely honest with you, I think when Alan Wake 2 came out, I think it probably took over Starfield's spot, to be honest with you. And so, you know, people are talking about, you know, the Xbox tax, and
I don't think so.
I don't know if I want to say there's a tax per se, but there are some outlets that do have a bias that cannot be denied. But I can't blame everything that's going wrong with Xbox on that. You know, at the end of the day, I've said this several times, and you know, and I'm an Xbox channel, as you guys know, and when I say the truth, a lot of Xbox fans get upset with me. And I said, you know, in a couple of videos a month ago, you know, and these guys like booed me out the building. I said, Xbox, they need to, although they make good games, they need to make better games. They need to get their games on the same level as Sony to get that divide. They need to make a game that's so good that it's freaking deniable, right? And although I think they're itching there, and I think the games are getting better and better, I just don't think they're quite there yet. So yes, Starfield in short should have been nominated. I think it deserves the nomination. I think it's a good game, but I think there's other games that were better than it and they didn't get nominated. I like Jedi Survivor far more than Starfield. So you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Can't keep crying over it.
No, D, that's a good point. Persona, I want to hear your point, because Persona, you said something. Jeff Grubb goes, Armored Core 6 is the real victim here, which a lot of people...
Oh my gosh,
that game is so good.
I just started it. Holy smokes, that game is good.
Persona, what did you had a comment, Persona. What do you think about the situation with the nominations and how they lay?
No, I was just saying I disagree with what D-Batch, he had said something about... if Mario wasn't there, something about Mario, if it wasn't there, it would have been Starfield. which I disagree, because when you look at like the other categories and what's being nominated, a lot of the games that's in a Game of the Year are also in a lot of those other categories as well. Outside of RPG, for Starfield, it's not nominated for anything else: narrative, director, art direction, action adventure, anything like that. So to say that it would have been in the Game of the Year if Mario was there or something like that. I disagree with that. That was just my thoughts on that.
I kind of got the feeling too.
Yeah,
seeing the nominations.
Right. But when it comes to the nominations and things like that, I mean, listen, it's funny because every time we come around this time of year, we always get the same talking points of, oh well, awards don't matter. This who cares? It's all about what you enjoy and what's your personal game of the year, which I do agree with that, which I think it is. I do think what you enjoy is definitely what's most important.
Yes.
But if these game awards didn't matter, people wouldn't continuously tune in. The viewership wouldn't keep going up every year, and we wouldn't see a lot of the anger and whatnot when it comes to games that are being snubbed at the Game of the Year. So these things do matter, right? They matter a great deal. So I just think when it comes to the nominations, Spider-Man there, so we good. But I do think that Hogwarts Legacy for me is probably the biggest travesty of not being recognized for anything. This game was, to this day, this game is still one of the top selling games of the year. It's still number one to this day. And Hogwarts Legacy is the gameplay, the world, the atmosphere,
even the sound
of Harry Potter, the sound, everything. Like this game exceeds on so many levels. It really is sad.
Do you think without
politics, killed by the woke nation?
Right. Obviously, I do think there's a lot of politics that's going into why this game is being snubbed.
It wasn't in anyone.
Yeah,
it wasn't in
not
anything. Sound, anything.
For it not to be nominated for nothing, anything. Like literally nothing.
For me,
I feel like that's a huge travesty, man.
For me personally, that just puts like an asterisk a little bit on the show, because it shows that politics matter in games, and it really shouldn't. I don't think politics have any business in games. There's some games that have some woke moments that I'm like, crap, I don't Spider-Man for instance, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not doing this mission, peace out, and that's the end of it. I'm not gonna sit there and cry about it. I don't understand why everybody is so freaking sensitive. People can have an opinion, and at the end of the day, that game wasn't even made by her, so what are we really doing here? And then the other half was upset because, you can do this and make your character look like that. It's a game. You know what? You can make yourself to be a freaking flying half pigeon unicorn in some games. Like, it doesn't need to make sense all the time. You guys take things too seriously. And at the end of the day, it's supposed to be about gaming. And is the game fun? And is it accepted by the public? And the public loved this game. So right there, that game being snubbed, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I just gotta say that.
And on top of that too, I feel bad for the developer who this was like a big game for them, because the previous one, what did they do? Like a Disney game, or they didn't even do like a. They did some stuff for like Disney Infinity, didn't they? Before this
game, it was a much smaller game. The fact that they had that feat accomplished is a magnificent thing.
Like this was a big breakout game for them, and they did such a great job with that IP.
Surprise hit. Nobody expected.
So it was a huge IP, and I gotta say, I pumped the sound on that game, and just the world that they built, and just what they've done with that open world, Harry Potter with all this stuff. The fact that did not get, I again, and somebody just wrote in the chat too, even at the Golden Joysticks, they said, no, he's talking about Starfield, never mind. But I just think that game just got forgotten about, but the sales charts, everybody got it. It was a great game. And the fact that it didn't get nominated for anything, not even Game of the Year, but none of this, anything else, is pretty wild. I think that was a big snub.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. Wolf Saint says Hogwarts didn't score high enough, but Wolf, if you're hearing what we're saying on the panel, probably the same reason it didn't score high enough is the same reason it didn't get the nomination. So
we're not saying Game of the Year. There's no way that game is not in the RPG or whatever
sound design or buying something, whatever the hell,
or even action adventure.
It's kind of wild that the best-selling game of the whole entire year is not nominated for anything. You know what I mean? That's just crazy.
And with that said, inherently it proves that there is some type of bias there, and you can't tell me that there's some outlets that don't have a bias towards Xbox, because I know there's a lot of outlets that just don't fuck with Xbox, man. So that is partly a part of it as well, for people saying about the Xbox tax. But I'm just being completely objectively honest here. It wouldn't have mattered anyways, because it was not Game of the Year. So,
well, I think D, you made a decent point in the beginning, but you got to remember you almost contradicted yourself, because at the end of the day, for this particular year, Starfield, and I've said this on the channel, I've said it every week, before it came out, while it came out, and now, the game is okay. It's not what people, and when people say what brought this attention to Starfield, when anybody that put Game of the Generation and anything, that's who brought attention to this.
No, I personally playing it, I think it's more than okay. I think
Did you beat it, D?
No, I haven't beat it because I haven't beat a lot of games because I'm playing like a zillion games at one time. But
wait, so how is it deserving of the Game of the Year for you if you haven't completed the game?
I didn't say. I never.
No, hold on.
If you listen to what I said, I said.
I just want to ask the question. I'm
going to cut you off from asking the question because I said it doesn't deserve to be Game of the Year in the first place, so it's irrelevant.
Earlier, you said it should be though.
I said it deserved the nomination. I said regardless.
Yeah, so you deserved the nomination, meaning that it deserved the potential to win Game of the Year. Correct?
It deserved the nomination. It doesn't deserve to win. I don't know. They're two separate things.
So how does it deserve to be nominated then? If it doesn't deserve to win? The purpose of a nomination.
But wait, but there's five other games on there that don't have a chance either. That's not the point.
I understand, but the understand is
I think it was good enough to be nominated over Mario Wonder. Okay, I'm just being honest. I think it deserved to be nominated over Mario Wonder at least.
So my follow up question is: if it's deserving to be nominated, why isn't it deserving of you completing the game?
I said it doesn't deserve to be Game of the Year because
that's not the question I asked you. Though I asked you if it's deserving of being nominated, which is okay, fair. That's your opinion. Why isn't it deserving of you completing the game?
Well, I'm playing a lot of games at one time. A lot of games have come out. I lost some interest in it. I went and moved on to other games. I'm going to go back to it. And because of that, it's not Game of the Year. It's a great game, but there's so many games coming out right now, and I got to complete all these games to do reviews on them, to see the technical stuff, and I just have to keep moving sometimes, and I have to go back. That's just the way that I play my games. Okay. So I'm fairly far into it, but I haven't cleared it. I'm fairly far into Jedi Survivor. I'm like at the last section, but then another game comes out that I got to touch on it. So then when I get the moments, I go back and I finish and clear the games. That's just how I play my games.
So I played
enough of the game to get a grasp of it and to know what the game is about, right?
So how long do you think it would be till you finish the game in terms of Starfield?
Starfield, I'm probably going to finish it next month. I'll probably finish it over the holidays.
Okay, cool.
I don't think Starfield is like I don't find any problems having it. It's not a travesty that it didn't get nominated. I don't think it's an Xbox tax. It just has to do with the game itself. And like people have been complaining about the creation engine since Fallout 4, and they're still keeping that thing together with duct tape and bubblegum. And you know what I mean? Like until you give me like better looking faces, and you know what? It's a different time. Okay, having 100 persistent sandwiches is not a flex. That was a flex, like back in the PS2, PS3 days. Oh, look at those melting ice cubes. Oh, look, I can interact with everything. Yeah. Nobody cares anymore. I don't want to pick up a million toothpicks and a million put all those resources in, especially if you're going to use an old ass engine. So there's reasons it didn't make it, and I don't think an Xbox tax has anything to do with it.
Yeah, Mooch.
I want to say I played it on PC, and on PC it's like a completely different game as well. So, you know, playing it on I couldn't even play this on a console at 30 FPS to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Mooch. I think kind of like with the thing with Hogwarts, like everyone's saying here, it's like Medialis just didn't want to touch it, you know. And I think for obvious reasons, there's a lot of blowback from what's her face? I always forget her name.
J.K.
Sarkeesian.
J.K. Rowling. Yeah, I mean she was pushing for anti-trans legislation in Scotland. I mean that was part of the controversy, and they are members of the LGBT community that or LGBT community that that work at some of these outlets, and some of these outlets may have DEI initiatives that where they're supporting these communities. So that factors into it. That's just the, I mean, it's fair. I understand people don't agree with that, and that's fair. But that's just the reality of the world we live in today, where, you see more inclusiveness in games, more diversity. Part of that is DEI initiatives that companies are implementing. My company's doing it big time. I mean, we do a lot of stuff in the LGBT community. We have people that that worked, or colleagues that are part of that community, that identify with that community, that have family members that identify the community. So I think that's probably part of it too, where you have people that are representatives of that community, or have family members that are part of that community that work at these outlets. It's one of those things. I don't disagree. I'm shocked again that it didn't get something right, but I think we're just in a situation where nobody wants to touch it.
Well, Brad,
all I'm gonna say is these same outlets, I better not see one of those guys in a Chick-fil-A.
Well, I mean, I understand that perspective, but everyone's threshold for tolerance and what they see as a just cause is different, and I get that perspective, but everyone's. I mean, look, I buy Nike shoes. I mean, we could talk about how Nikes are made. We talk about we all buy devices from China. We all buy a lot of stuff from China. And those aren't really, ideal working conditions, and there's a lot of human rights violations. So I understand that perspective, but unfortunately, humans, they operate on a spectrum.
If she was directly involved with the game, then I could understand the argument a little bit more for sure. But she had no involvement with the game at all. They're just using the characters that she created in a book. So come on, that's
she's already won. She already got her bag. She already got her money.
She did, yeah. And I think that's it. I think there's if you to kind of step back and look at the developers, that's for the developers, that's kind of unfortunate. It's kind of collateral damage. Yeah. But this is the time that we live in, and this is going to be something I think that's going to be. I mean, we see it today. These are things that are going to come up again in the future, but. Like with Starfield, we're talking about Starfield real quick, and I just want to mention that I love Bethesda. I actually almost went to go work there, for me, Starfield was a good game, but it was the least favorite of the Bethesda games that I've played, in my opinion. Coming from Morrowind, I forget who said it earlier. It felt very disjointed to me. The story did. The game, there were certain missions earlier. The Crimson Fleet was good. But then the dialogue, the dialogue tree, the choices, when I was trying to persuade someone in a conversation, just seemed so bland. And I'm also comparing the dialogue trees to Baldur's Gate 3, which is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so bland in Starfield. And then, I know we talk about the Bethesda charm, the bugs. The bugs were there. I had a couple game-breaking bugs where I had to restart missions. And I was playing the PC version, thank God, because I couldn't play this on 30 FPS. But it just, I think, and I forget whoever said it. The design philosophy of Bethesda, it was great 20 years ago, 10 years ago, but it felt very dated to me. I'm like, okay, I don't care about having the ability to interact with everything in this room because it doesn't
pain in the ass.
Yeah, and then it over encumbers you.
Yeah, and then it doesn't tell you what you can use these things for. There are some actually items that you can actually use, but it doesn't tell you that. There's some quality of life things here that weren't really well implemented.
The inventory was perspective.
Bad. The inventory management system.
Yes.
It's like Todd Howard. This is 2023. That stuff was great back then, but sometimes less is more. And I think in this case, maybe if they streamline.
Well, they said that, Brad. Didn't someone from Bethesda said maybe looking back, maybe we should have done a little less.
Less planets.
What about vehicles on the darn planet?
No vehicles on the planet.
That was
and then I hopped in a spaceship and I couldn't fly everywhere. I go from one loading screen to the next. It just felt very disjointed. The story in the beginning really wasn't. It didn't really pull me in the way Go back and you look at the opening to Oblivion. Wow, that really got me into the game. Skyrim, remember the opening to Skyrim? Fallout 4, the opening there. There wasn't just anything there really. And I understand that people enjoy the sandbox, and that's fine. People enjoy those kinds of things. That's not me for me, but I don't think this game was a game of the year contender. I think even if Mario wasn't there, I could think of some other games that could have
We named a few.
slot.
We named a few right there, right? Armored
You know,
Core
and also
6,
too,
there's a
like,
bunch.
Armored
I think
Core,
the-
Final Fantasy 16 would be one.
Yeah, there's a bunch that could add.
No,
into
Armored
that.
Core is not no Game of the Year contender. Sorry.
Uh-oh, Jay
Stop
Bari. Jay Bari.
Oh, that game's pretty good, man. That game's
The
pretty
game, the game is good, but it ain't no Game of the Year. Like I look at Game of the Year contender like you hitting all aspects. Like Mario Wonder, I don't think I love the game, but I don't think it's a Game of the
That
Year
game is
contender
incredible.
because
Yeah.
the gameplay is great, but compared to why all the other games are there, they're not just being up on the nomination just for the gameplay. They're there for the story, the sound, the graphics.
So
You know what I mean?
since you guys are a lot of PlayStation guys, what do you feel about the Final Fantasy getting snubbed?
Yeah, I feel like Final Fantasy, it should have been there as well. You know what I mean? And that could be because I'm biased because I did play the game. Like, you know what I mean? But like just looking at it, Alan Wake 2, I can't say nothing about it because I didn't play that. So I don't know what Alan Wake 2.
Yeah,
My targets is on Mario Wonders. Like when I look at every other game that's on there, every other game is on there. Like, somebody asks, if you ask somebody why is this game on here and why this game is on here, they're gonna tell you, oh, the story, the graphics, the gameplay, the sound design, the music. Mario Wonders, you tell them why is Mario Wonder on there? Oh, the gameplay is fun. They're not telling you about the story. They're not telling you about
one world away. It's the Resident Evil 4. That's the one I'm like, oh, like that one, Game of the Year. Like, it's a great game. It's incredible what they've done. They tweaked them things with what they've done, but like, it's Resident Evil 4 and it's a remake, and you know they've done the other remakes already before. That's the one I would push on to say, give that one out and put somebody else there.
Correct.
I feel like RE4, like there was a lot of praise for RE4. So
it was an incredible game. It was incredible. But they should have a remake section though, like remake awards, so Last of Us could win next year.
I feel like 16 with what 16 did, you know, with that story, with the characters. Like, listen, the RPG elements of the game weren't the best. Like, I'll give it that.
Facts.
But when it comes to like everything else with the game, the boss fights, music,
combat,
and stuff like that, combat. I really think they did a really good job with that stuff. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I definitely think 16 was deserving.
I'm not knocking Mario Wonder. People in the chat, I'm not knocking it. I'm
gonna say this about Mario Wonder because I'm like one piranha cloud freaking thing away from clearing the game.
2 piranha clouds away.
All right, so really?
I'm almost there.
So I'm almost clearing this game, and it is not Game of the Year. It's fantastic. I don't think it deserves to be on this list. Like Dead Space was snubbed. Dead Space was freaking awesome. But then
the remake
Wi-Fi Rush was good too. Wi-Fi Rush was really good.
Well, so
you know, Diablo. A lot of people like Diablo. There's so many good games.
I was actually surprised Diablo wasn't in there.
Yeah, we can't cry so much that Starfield didn't make
Diablo wasn't there.
I think the reason why Diablo wasn't there is because, like, that first update when they nuked everybody's builds. That was it for that game. Because I put like almost 100 hours in that game, and then once they nuked my barbarian blood build, I said I'm done. I refuse. I'm just not doing it.
Just to explain to Jeff Grubb, I'm not knocking Mario Wonder. I love the game. I'm just saying, like, compared to everything else nominated, when you have that conversation of why this game is here for the Game of the Year award, you're not just talking about the gameplay. You're talking about all aspects of the game.
Jay, let me read what he said, because I was going to mention it too, but I'll give you the mic back, Jay. He says, Jeff Grubb says, saying, in quotes, the gameplay is fun as a negative for a game award. I feel like I'm in a bizarro world. Jeff,
listen,
it's more.
Can I say this?
It's more to it than that, though, right? We always talk. We've been kind of built to hear that it's about the music, it's about the narrative, it's about the gameplay, it's about a bunch of different things that all come to accumulation that gives you Game of the Year. That's what we've always been discussing year in and year out. So it's not that category isn't important, but it's a piece of the puzzle that goes towards Game of the Year, not the only thing. And I don't know if I'm speaking for the panel there. That's kind of how I always try to judge.
I would say this. It's 2023. Okay, we have capable systems. We have capable handheld systems. You know, we have capable PCs. I'm sorry. As much as I love playing Tears of the Kingdom, as much as I'm enjoying Mario Brothers now, it needs more. It needs more. Yes, it's fun, and that's what gaming is all about. But I want a good narrative. I want good graphics. I want some groundbreaking technologies. I want more. And there's other games
Mario Wonder
that are doing more.
Game, though.
No,
it's not. It's a better looking game than Tears of the Kingdom for sure.
Beautiful looking.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like it's not reinventing the wheel. It's not. It's fun to play with my kid, but if I didn't have a son, I wouldn't be playing that game.
Oh no, they got that game. I'm saying the level design itself, what they do with the enemy designs, the level design, the puzzling, how they every stage is different. It's incredible. Like I thought,
I think Wonder's gameplay is really good.
Yeah,
like,
I love the game
a lot.
It is, but when you hold it up to these other games, like, are you going to hold up Mario Wonder to Alan Wake 2? Really? We're going to do that?
But I'm saying Resident Evil 4. I said the remake should be in the game of the year, especially in this year. With all those games, a remake shouldn't have made a game of the year up there. That with all these games that they had.
Gameplay looked great. Wow, this what this is.
I can't wait to play this. I'm saying for I would say I would push on Resident Evil 4. This wasn't a year for a remake up there. That could have been. They should just make the remake nominees. Get rid of what is it? A gaming coach of the year and all that other horse shit. Just do some more like
I don't know why the
influencer of the year, the players coach, the trainer of the year for the esports teams. Get the fuck out of here. The ball washer. Because get those out of here. We don't need waste of that stuff. We need to do a remake of the nominations. Do those kind of things. Yeah, do that. Avoid music, all that stuff. We don't need that esports crap.
Well, Jeff comes back. He says it is not what we've been discussing. If we are talking about best song, does it have to have everything? He says, so if a piece of jazz doesn't have lyrics, it can't be best song because it doesn't have it all.
But if you read the description as far as game of the year, it says excels in all aspects. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not knocking Mario. I said, I'm not knocking Mario Wonder. I think it's a great game. I'm playing
it's fun.
I'm
almost carrying it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, when I look at everything else and how the conversation is going, people don't just go to Alan Wake and talk about the gameplay, why it's there for the game of the year. They talk about the ambiance, the music, the environment, the graphics, the dialogue, the narrative. All of that, you know what I'm saying? All of that. Mario Wonders, when people ask why that's there, it's like, the gameplay fun. Yeah, which it is. I'm not knocking that. But compared to everything else, when the description is saying all aspects, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I'll put that as my game of the year for a nominee.
And even if we're going to say the gameplay is fun, objectively speaking, is it the best gameplay out of any game this year? It's not.
No, it's up there for me. I love it. I love it.
It's a best platformer for sure, hands down.
I mean, hands down. I get what Jeff's saying, and I'll disagree. Like, we all have our, personal tastes and things like that. And I understand, like, we all have our own personal what we call game of the years. I haven't played the game. I heard someone say the level design, the bosses are done very well. I mean, I think those things matter. If those things were done well for a platformer, and it, look, the fun factor I think is important to a game. But games are different. Art's different, and I think that people are going to interpret those types of experiences differently than others. So, I haven't played it, so I can't comment on it. But I kind of understand his perspective a little bit. With Resident Evil 4, I've been one of the few that doesn't have an issue with it being Game of the Year in the Game of the Year category, even though it's a remake. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the developer still look, I understand the storyboards there, but they still have to do that lifting. They still have to design and implement and execute a modern day take of this game with the modern day take with the controllers and the music and the graphics and the level design and all that stuff. I mean, we just saw what happened to KOTOR remake. So, and the developer should be recognized for that, regardless if it's a remake or not, because that work's still being done.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I see that.
That's just my opinion. I mean, I understand.
I see. Like, definitely work is being done, but it's just I thought in this kind of year with all that stuff, I would say, because like Resident Evil 4, the story and all that stuff, they won their awards already. They've been winning their awards for Resident Evil 4 being one of the best Resident Evils, but give somebody else a chance.
So, shout out to Slow-Mo Backstop. He says Mario Wonder is there because Savvy, in parentheses, Saudi Arabia, owning parts of Nintendo and Capcom is A-OK, But J.K. Rowling getting royalties for Hogwarts Legacy isn't. Shout out to the great Slow-Mo. Shout out to DPS Podcast.
You going deep.
He went
down.
Yeah,
there's something going on with that game.
Slow-Mo's not playing.
I cannot wait till next year when the Switch 2 comes out and finally Nintendo heads can start dancing with their tail feathers and say, yes, now we have graphics.
I'm telling you, like you agree, Mario Wonder for what it is, like on what it's running on, like my God, like there's some magicians over there.
Well,
I mean, we've had indies nominated for Game of the Year, right? I mean, I mean, so that's why
Journey won one year, I think. Yeah, Journey won.
That's why this.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, but this year is.
I'm not questioning like a
this
small.
This year, yeah.
I'm looking at the conversation that's being had. Like I said, if I was to ask you right now, Brap, why do you think Alan Wake is nominated for Game of the Year? What would you tell me?
Well, I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't comment on it.
Oh, what game did you play that's on there that's nominated?
I played Baldur's Gate 3, which is my personal Game of the Year.
That's a perfect example. Why is Baldur's Gate 3 on the Game of the Year award nominee, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields? Why do you think it's up there?
For me, I mean, just based on my experience playing it, I mean, it's really, like it's again, they're using Larian Studios is using, it's basically a D&D template on top, or a D&D on top of the what's the other game they make, Divinity Original Sins, I think it is. It's basically that game with a D&D skin on it, but even so, I mean, like the execution of that game in terms of the die rolls, the D&D rules that are implemented, the dialogue tree, the skill tree, the variety in combat, the fact that you can your choices in the dialogue trees really have impacted meaning of the story, can really impact who's on your which characters. If you, I don't want to spoil too much, if you choose to save some characters or not, that could have some kind of impact down the road. Sometimes what seem like obvious moral choices in Baldur's Gate 3 if you play D&D, and I used to play D&D when I was younger, D&D often seems to be very black and white. This wasn't the case. I thought that was the brilliant interpretation of D&D, because some of those choices, which seem like sound moral choices, really weren't. You come to find that later on, you're like, oh shit, maybe I should have made that choice. So it's those things, and how they executed on those design philosophies and really D&D. As a video game, like that's why it's my Game of the Year, and the voice acting and storytelling is just very
dialogue trees.
You see how layered your answer is. Why do you think Mario Wonders is well,
I mean, but that's also different. I mean, it's also different game. It's a more different size scale scope. I mean, I would say Tears of the Kingdom might be my runner up. And Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have that much. Well, Link doesn't really speak at all.
But the narrative has definitely stepped up in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, there's some good narrative there, but it's not as deep as Baldur's Gate 3. But what it does well, it does very well. We talk about the traversal, kind of that Minecraft, sandbox and Zelda, and then. They added, they built, I know it's kind of the same map, but they built out they include that cloud world, I forget what it's called, Sky World or something, or Sky, I forget what it's called. And then there's also Sky
Islands,
thank you. Yeah. There's also the, what's it called? It's below the caves that you can explore. And I love the game, just the ability to customize vehicles, creating your own way to traversal around the map. The puzzles were really well done. I thought the shrines were better than Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild I thought was a high bar for Nintendo. And my concern when they released Tears of the Kingdom was like, are they going to be able to really pass exceed the bar that they set with Breath of the Wild? And I thought they did.
Is this going to be one of those years though, Brap, where everybody thinks we're going in? I think if I polled every one of you guys, which I'm not going to buy, if you guys want to shout out your thought, go ahead. Everyone would probably say, Baldur's Gate 3. I think just as a wild card, if this was going to be on some kind of sports book somewhere, I bet you Alan Wake 2 just pulls it out.
Yeah, it's one of the two. And I wouldn't be surprised.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
It's going to be KOTOR.
Not to derail the convo here, but I just noticed that a Last of Us Part 2 remaster trailer dropped. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I saw it just before we went live. It launched. Persona, what did you say? Who did you think might win it?
It's going to be down to Baldur's Gate or Zelda. I think I'm going to be the two that really are going to be competing for that.
The only reason I'm thinking bets. This is not my personal opinion. I'm just thinking numbers. If they had to put percentages on it, I just put Zelda a little bit lower, only because not because of the quality or issue. This that. It's just because Breath of the Wild won in, what was it, 2017?
Yeah.
So I don't giving them any.
That don't matter, boy. I feel like was Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Why doesn't it deserve to win?
Because it was Breath of the Wild Part 2, or Breath of the Wild .5.
Well, I can't. Persona. Persona. I'm going to say I'm going to answer the way that you USD. I played it, but I did not beat it, so I can't speak.
I'm asking D-Bash. I was curious.
I just said I cleared it.
Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, I did.
I think with Breath of the Wild, with Tears of the Kingdom, it's like the creative aspect of it, of what you can actually do in the game and all that stuff, and the story and the world and the underworld and all that. They definitely stepped up something serious in this second game, but it's also Zelda. You feel me? Like it has a very strong chance of winning. Baldur's Gate. I feel like with Baldur's Gate, a lot of the public reception surrounding that game, it was a phenomenon. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like it was a phenomenon. So I feel like Baldur's Gate as well is a very, very strong contender for winning it. But Alan Wake 3, that actually, it's surprising when it was announced, when the game got announced, but like seeing like the public perception behind it and everything, I was like, yo, that game was definitely really popular, and like a lot of people are really enjoying that game. I'm hearing a lot of good things about that game. So that might be that could very well be the wild card.
That's that wild card.
I agree with that wild card. Yeah, just based on some of the critical reception I've seen of the game. To your point, Persona, about the zeitgeist around Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not saying this is like proof that it's going to win Game of the Year, but I have coworkers who I would say are casual gamers, and they are playing Baldur's Gate 3, and they rave about this game.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And they're not like they're very casual. They'll play like Call of Duty, Madden.
It's the Elden Ring effect, right?
Yeah, it almost is like the Elden Ring effect.
Yeah. People don't typically play those type of games. Like I would never buy that game before, and because of all that stuff and what I watched, and then I was interested in it because everybody was talking about it, and then I was like, oh, let me play it. Like again, I love the RPG elements, but the combat for me is just not
for me.
Not for the combat.
You don't like the turn base and the combat. Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
I love it.
So let me.
I've never been.
I love the dialogue and the exploration. I would say sorry.
I've never been like a huge fan of that kind of combat, and it took me a while to I was like, I was on the fence, and then as I really got into it, I'm like, I really got addicted to it. And the co-op when you play with people is even.
Yes, I haven't done that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So Jez, I want to ask. This is a great topic here. It all kind of blends in. This is what's been great about tonight's show. All these topics kind of morph right into the other. We talked about the Game Awards. We touched slightly. I do want to ask Jez as well about his. He did a show today. If you guys didn't check it out, go check Jez's show out. He did a few hours back on the Xbox tax, and we just kind of touched on that. But the one thing I want to peel the onion back one more for you here, Jez, is I thought it was interesting when Sea of Thieves took to X with criticism for the Game Awards for not being nominated for Best Ongoing Game.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they came out and did that, Jez. Is that them almost proclaiming their own Xbox tax in that sense? They've since removed that tweet.
Yeah, they removed it. I think I looked at it more as a joke from them. Like it seemed like a little more jokingly. Yeah. I didn't think that it was something like, "Hey, remember us?" Like that. But the fact that they deleted it, maybe because they were getting like retweets and things like that. People were reading into it.
Management told them to delete that because
dude,
it was causing too much commotion.
It was in jest. Probably. It was clearly in jest. If you know,
I think it was a joke.
I read that as a joke though, because I'm like,
I did too.
I just feel like next time they need to just put like LOL at the end or laughing emoji or something. Just so that
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like they deleted because they see how unhinged their community are. Yo, no disrespect to the Xbox community, but these people are unhinged, man, and a Sea of Thieves can't even joke about something like, you vote for our game without them going crazy.
I think all fanboys are unhinged. Let's just be honest. Right now, maybe Xbox fans are a little bit more hyped up, but all fanboys are like this.
Yeah, I think all fanboys are unhinged, but I'm just saying, like, the Xbox tax is trending because of Game Awards, and now that the company just like, all right, let me joke around like, oh, we didn't get voted up. They have to delete their own little joke because people probably took that joke seriously. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of podcasters talking about how Sea of Thieves made this tweet, and yeah, they're right. Now they're going to further the conspiracy of this Xbox tax and all that stuff, man. So
I like the thing is like I do. There's definitely like if you have somebody that like their games tax, like they haven't. They've I think whatever kind of bias they brought to themselves has been they brought upon themselves with just their ability to overpromise and underdeliver so many times. Like after a while, it's sort of like how many times are you gonna apologize? We're not ready. Day one, things like that. Like there's definitely some sort of aura of just negativity with some of that stuff that I definitely think permeates outside of like into the media and things like that. But as to blaming that for reason why they don't get acknowledged for things, like I really think the thing is that you got to earn that respect and you got to be consistent and you got to be ensuring quality. And they say it. Phil does tons of interviews and says that I hear you. I'm going to do better. I'm learning. I take it on the chin this time, and and it's just.
I'll say this
it's
though,
still not there, and that's the problem. I think a lot of times, but I don't think that's an excuse for why the games get snubbed and stuff. Like I believe that Starfield. The bugs were the least of its problems. I think a lot of it was the technical things with the exploration.
It's a very competitive year, man.
I think it's a very competitive year. But like, I can understand why some Xbox fans are a little upset because when you sit there and you see Mario is in there, and then some other gamers don't like that Resident Evil 4 is in there either because it's a remake. I can understand some gamers being upset. Slow down. Hold on, let me just finish my point. To say that Starfield is a bad game is disingenuous because it's not a bad game. It's a good game. It's just not a 9, man.
This is my thing, right? I agree that like it's okay for people to be like upset and voice their dislikes or how they feel about a game being snubbed or what deserved or what doesn't, because like I said, there's 3 games that I felt are deserving of acknowledgement that weren't there. You feel me? So I feel like it's valid. Like I don't think it's invalid for anybody to speak up and voice their opinions. Where things get weird and where things really get out of hand is when you have people, I seen a clip floating around of like someone saying that, Jeff Keighley should be Will Smith, and how people are saying boycott the Game Awards, and the Game Awards is bought and paid for, and like all these crazy outlandish things and harassing Keighley and just bad mouthing all this other stuff, man. It's just like that's the stuff where I think things go too far, right? I feel like you can disagree, you can voice that. But the some of the stuff that I've seen on Twitter and social media has definitely been really, really off. I'm like, guys, I understand being angry or I understand feeling some type of way, but this is kind of going overboard. Let's dial this back a bit.
I want to piggyback what Persona said. Like it's fair, like Persona said, to disagree. We all, some of us disagree with Mario, and that's fair. You make a case for it. But you be an adult about it. You don't lash out like a child and start, saying someone needs to be Will Smith or whatever it was. I know what clip you're talking about, Persona. And you don't threaten Keighley, or you don't make accusations that the video game awards are corrupt and that Jeff Keighley's on Sony's payroll. Like I've seen those accusations,
especially when he doesn't have nothing to do with a voting,
and especially when, by the way, Phil Spencer sits on the board of directors. So is Phil like is he part of this Illuminati that everyone's suggesting is happening? And I was funny. I won't.
He's voted for all his games.
Yeah, but I was talking to a journalist. I won't name his name, but he was kind of laughing about the Xbox tax and the whole bias thing that these guys are saying. It's based on false pretenses. Is there some bias? Yes, but it's not. But it's not enough where it's hurting the brand or it's impacting the voting of the Game Awards.
Yes, yeah.
It's not at that level, and it's super disingenuous for people to start pushing these conspiracy theories. Like this is supposed to be video games. Like this is supposed to be entertainment. We have enough conspiracy theories, flat Earth conspiracy theorists, people out there that think.
Shout out, Will Stop.
Is he a flat Earth? That I didn't know. That's pretty funny. That's a surprise. But that we didn't land on the moon. That Martians are living among us. Like we have so much of that in real life. Like let's not bring that into video games. Video games are supposed to be fun. Again, it's fair to make rational, logical reasons, well thought out reasons why you may disagree with a nomination. But where it really goes south is when people, and these are adults, which is frightening. When people who are adults start making these conspiracy theories and start saying that the media is after Microsoft and they never give Microsoft a fair share. Like at the end of the day, it's not the media's job to make sure that Microsoft is competitive. It's Microsoft's job to make sure they're competitive.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft's job
to
manage their production portfolio, to put out high quality games that are in the conversation, that are going to move the needle and sell systems. You saw the knock on effect of Starfield when it was 3 years into this generation until Microsoft released a big AAA exclusive in Starfield. And you saw the knock-on effect. Starfield's a good game, and you saw what happened. Satya Nadella talked about the impact that Starfield had to Game Pass. We saw double...
And they were second for MPD.
We saw a 50% increase in hardware sales in the UK as a result of Starfield. So when you release games... they used to say this to the president here in the United States. It's about the economy, stupid. It's about games, stupid. No, I'm not calling people stupid, but it is. You release good content. You look at what Nintendo does. You look at what Sony does. They consistently release games that are critically acclaimed.
Well, the key word you said,
Xbox not have a bad year
right now.
Consistency. They didn't have a bad year. It's just like, this year it's very, very competitive. They actually had a pretty good year this year.
Forza was good. Starfield is like, the last time I checked, it could have changed, but last time I checked, it was like the number 6th or 7th best-selling game of the year. That is. And
then there's the Redfalls.
It's funny though, D.
I thought Rush was actually good.
Rush was good. And then really got nominated. Nobody's celebrating that. Like everybody was worried about
five nominations.
Yeah, it was good. It was unique. It was new. Yeah.
The thing about it though is we say the word consistency. D said it himself. So but the one thing I want to just put an asterisk next to is Forza Motorsport, and Jez, you touched on this earlier tonight. This is according to the NPD, now known as, is it Circana, I believe it is. This is October 2023, top 20 best-selling games in the US. Now, I do understand that Game Pass takes effect here, but Forza Motorsport came in at 17th. 17th. It's one of the lower rated Forzas.
Steam reviewers
it's been 6 years since the last one, too.
Right, and I mean, and Phil says it himself in a couple of interviews that Forza Motorsport in turn 10, that's one of his. That's what I'm putting words in his mouth, but he said something to the effect.
He said their technical. They maximize. It always has been that the Forza has been a technical achievement on the console.
You know what the problem is with Forza? Forza Horizon 5 just wrecked it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Forza Horizon came out like 2 years ago.
But
this was the. But that's that style of gameplay. Gamers prefer that over.
Well, why? You look at Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo 7
doesn't sell that well. Either.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
I don't think it sells.
But I'm saying, like, it's not like nobody wants those kind of circuit racing games. Like Forza was that. Forza Motorsport was that, and it's been 6 years since the last one.
Have you guys seen?
And it looks good, and it plays well. But I've played it, but personally, although I do like that's a new game and it's obviously a track racer, I prefer Forza Horizon over. It's just more fun.
Yeah, I think Forza really took Forza Horizon took a lot of.
It says here for
what they should do is they should do a hybrid where they have elements of both. I think that's the best of both worlds. I think that's the next logical step because I think the track I think it has its place. But I just don't think it's as popular as Forza Horizon. And if you look at Forza Horizon 5 and you put it beside the new Forza game, like it holds up, man. It's more colorful in some scenes actually. So
Forza 7 looks better than Forza Motorsport. Like in some of the aspects of it, like with the side by sides, like Forza Motorsport, the new one, the old one looked a little bit better than the new one.
I don't think so. No.
Hey, you look at the Digital Foundry side by side, it did. Like the engine that they used. And even the ray tracing that they shown wasn't the ray tracing that's in the final game. Like this Forza was definitely handled very strangely.
Yeah,
well, I haven't. Once again, I'm playing it on PC, so it's probably drastically.
And on PC, it's not very
exposed.
optimized for PC. It's kind of tough to run that thing on PC.
I
got a 4090, so
he's brute forcing it. How's
he's brute forcing it because you try to run that thing on like a 3080 or 3070. Like I'm like, with Forza Horizon 5 just ran incredibly. This Forza Motorsport was like I kept doing the benchmarking. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this game? It's weird.
Well, it's doing other stuff too, and it's got a little bit more detail.
Strange, yeah. I don't know what's up with it.
How's the performance on PC? I just saw the
it's hard to get it.
It's 37%.
The last time I checked, I'm pretty sure I'm like 4K 120 easy. So with everything,
well, that's a 4090. If you just go on normal people's GPUs, the thing it needs a lot of tweaking, and there's a lot of weird things with it, and it does have some limitations. I don't know if they did an update to it, but I had trouble trying to get a decent image with high frame rates on it.
What does Mooch say? Oh yeah, that's a you problem. No, I'm just bugging.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like from the reviews and the sales, it doesn't look like it's a me problem.
Hey, you got a breadstick for a GPU there, Jez.
Yeah, that's what it is. Goddamn, Olive Garden GPU.
No, but I hear what you're saying. I'm just, just being a joker. Forza Horizon 5, it did run good. It ran good.
It did. Like, that game just ran incredibly. Like what's funny is that they still use that one every time they're trying to benchmark like all these new devices, like the Ally and all these other ones. They use Horizon 5.
Yeah,
and Horizon 5 was bringing up Horizon 5 in the Game Awards. Do you remember, like, everybody wanted that to be nominated for Game of the Year, and they were upset that wasn't in the Game of the Year because it was one of the highest rated Metacritics.
Yeah, and it was
and everybody was going crazy. Well, why is this not the Game of the Year? But it was a racing game.
I think arguably that's one of the best racing games of all time for me, at least.
So, real quick question here. I got two super chats, and I want to ask Persona a question because I know it's something that's been.
You know what? I gotta kind of fly out of here, man. You always dip into my time, Mooch, man. You always tell you 10 minutes is like an hour and a half later. Oh my god.
D, I think you got the times messed up too, because when you were like, "Yo, when do we go live?" and I'm like, "In 20 minutes."
Yeah,
I think you thought I maybe went at 9 o'clock, so 7 o'clock was pretty early for you.
Yeah. So it worked out. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to the whole panel there.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys next week. Check out my videos, YouTube D_batch. I have the review of that PlayStation Portal. Watch it after the show. All right. Peace.
Thank you, D. I appreciate it. Shout out to the great Gambit2483. He says, long time moocher. Oh, and Xbox tax is not real. Shout out to him. I read slow-mos already, and then shout out to Magnum Gaming. He says the DualSense haptics is the culprit for the Xbox tax. But the one thing I wanted to say that I noticed, and also shout out to Lord Metroid, Mario Kart 8 has sold 65 million real racing. That's a big time Nintendo fan. Shout out. Jeez. By the way, I looked it up. Gran Turismo. Now, this is November of 22. November of 22 says estimated 6 million copies, and that was November of 22. That was
because it came out 21, right? Yeah, 21.
So it's definitely done some more and then some. But
Gran Turismo came out last year.
Last year it was. Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah, 22. Okay. 22.
This year,
it was a whole year. After launch.
Yeah, but I mean, take me for example. I didn't buy it the first year, but I bought it the minute VR came out. Yeah. So
the Gran Turismo series has always been a seller.
Big time.
You know what I
mean? Like, circuit racing is still a thing.
Isn't it like their highest selling first party game?
Yeah, it is their highest selling. I sold over like 90 million.
That's what I mean. Like there is a place for circuit racing games.
Hey Mooch, on Steam, and I'm a big proponent of the Steam user reviews.
Yes,
they're pretty good.
What do you got?
For Forza Motorsport, the new one, all reviews 36%.
Yeah, it's not optimized for PC, dude.
Recent reviews 31%.
Yeah,
and you'll see what happened because this happened with like the Last of Us port. As a game improved, as Naughty Dog went to work and really improved it, you saw the user scores go up. That may be the case here with Forza. We see if they improve it, whatever these issues are, then you may start seeing that number climb up. But I think that's kind of telling. It maybe speaks to where that game debuted on NPD or Circana.
Yo, to go on back on topic as far as what you guys are saying here, as far as Sea of Thieves, being snubbed, I do think it is snubbed. You know what I mean? I agree with the Xbox, people where they got Cyberpunk on that joint for like one expansion. Meanwhile, this game is on like 8.
Oh man,
how the hell it's not even up there? Like there's many games that have been updating updating for years.
All right, what
but
about
now you have one expansion and your best ongoing game of the year. My bad, Mooch. BS.
No, they got to get Cyberpunk on that stage. That's what they want to do. The redemption arc. Exactly.
I call a lot of heat because I said Starfield should be there, or not Starfield. I'm sorry, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I got a lot of heat on Brad for saying that, but as I thought about the conversation after the fact of the show, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe it shouldn't be there. And to Barry's point, maybe a Sea of Thieves should be there. I mean, Sea of Thieves. Remember the Kraken is lacking. I mean, it's come a long way.
It's still lacking.
Yeah, I heard it's still lacking.
Listen, listen. The Xbox game is playing that game, but I can understand why it's up there being nominated, especially on the PC side of things. Because they what 7-8 seasons, and you got a game that has put out an expansion is best ongoing game of the year. Like, get that off, please. Please,
you need that redemption arc.
Whoever's on that voting panel, I need your shins right now because it needs to be kicked. I don't know what the hell is going on over there.
Cyberpunk,
you know what I mean?
Lovers.
Y'all want to have deep conversation about the best ongoing game, but game of the year, y'all don't want to have no deep conversation. Is this a gameplay? No, I don't want to hear that. Your shins need to be kicked. Cyberpunk don't need to be on no best game of the ongoing game.
No.
And I don't play Sea of Thieves. I don't like the game. I played it on PC. I thought I was like, nope, I'm good. But at least they're supporting the goddamn game.
Or Fortnite would just win it every year. Like I just don't get it. Like you're right. Like just having a DLC, like how's that ongoing? Like you talking about a Fortnite model, a Sea of Thieves model, like that's more of an ongoing when I think about it than we just dropped some DLC and fixed the broken ass game that we had relaunched.
Let me look at these nominations. I forgot the nominations. Now I'm getting pissed off.
That's right.
Now I'm getting pissed off.
What about Grounded?
That's another one, dude. They added
but Grounded haven't like no
the mosquitoes.
Like
yeah, Jay, pull those up. Jeff, Jez, just so you know, your buddy True Virgil, shout out True Virgil, big fan.
Oh man, goggling himself there.
He says, "What's up, True?" He says Jeff and Sony bigger masterminds than Jesse Smollett. So he does not. He thinks they are in cahoots. I guess. I don't know.
Anyway. Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Why is Cyberpunk in this nomination?
Exactly, it doesn't fit.
Right.
Those are all. Yeah.
True Virgil super chat. I mean, True Virgil, man.
Don't mind him.
He's regurgitating a talking point I heard on a Xbox centric podcast. Again, that's what they do. The propaganda.
Oh, True Virgil that's trolling y'all. You know how these dudes, they say the crazy comments just to get a buzz out of y'all, man.
Oh,
they probably gonna screen record it and put it on Twitter. Like, I got Jets triggered, you know. That's
Bart, he's not triggering me. He knows where I put him right. He's a VIP on my channel, man. I hang him right next to Herman's nuts. That's where he hangs.
Oh man.
I do see that.
Dude, he knows. I put him on the show. I talked to him.
Hey, Barry, I'm being impersonated now in live chats, if that's from what I understand.
You listen, man. There's a lot of weird activity going on. So that's why,
weird
chat. Well, you know what I mean? You got to pick and choose who you respond to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Persona's right. Like what is it, Persona? You say keep your gaming circles close or keep your circles. I forget what you say.
Yeah, keep your gaming circles.
Every first of the month.
You're right. You're right.
I got to ask Persona. So Persona, one thing that kind of bugged me, one thing I really like, I know that you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know you and Bari will definitely take part in it. I'm a little upset that we lost PS5 share on X right now. I know they are talking about maybe bringing some of it back, but playing some of these games and being able to share that out with the community, man, it's fun. And Xbox lost it a while ago. And I shouldn't say lost it. They both, Xbox and Sony, opted out because X is charging them an unbelievable amount of cash. Mm-hmm. Now there is talks that Elon and whoever his business associates are, they're talking to Sony about bringing maybe share back as well as video. So what do you think what do you think about where we are right now? Because that's all that really matters. Right now we don't have it.
Yeah, listen, man. I'm absolutely disgusted. This shit is absolutely disgusting. And people always default to, you have the app, right? And here's the thing about the app, right? Because I was playing Under Night and Birth last night, so I was like, I wanted to share like a match or two, and I don't like it. I just don't like having to download the video, then edit it in my phone and all this bullshit. it was just so simple for me to just edit it there on the spot on the PlayStation console, and that's it. So that convenience factor is definitely gone, and this is now the second social media application that you can't share to anymore. The first one was Facebook that we lost quite a few years ago. Yeah, and now it's Twitter or X or whatever you call it.
Right.
Is next going to be YouTube? Is it going to be Twitch? It's like, yo, what's it just sucks, man.
It ruins my photo modes, dude. I love taking photos and sharing them out. The other problem with the app is that the app doesn't even tag the game or tag PlayStation Share or anything like that. It just puts it in a normal tweet like you're attaching a photograph, where when you tweet it out from the console, like it tagged the game and knew the game, and it hashtag the game and hashtag PS Share, so you can easily find them.
I think things are getting worse. Things are getting worse too with Twitter. Yeah. I mean, with X, because the news came out today that Apple's is pulling their advertising from X. So I think we're seeing. Say it again.
IBM, I think, just did the same thing.
Yeah, IBM I think they did theirs like a week or so ago, or it might have been today. I know I saw the Apple one, the IBM, but this is definitely like the beginning. I don't want to say I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but if you got Twitter stock,
sell it. Sell it.
It was sold out a long time ago.
No, you're
not. I was
gonna
say you might want to pull out of that, man. It's not a good look.
But you know what's
Twitter
funny?
Right now.
But Persona, they're doing that with everything right now, right?
Real quick, I gotta get going, man.
Okay, Brad. Thank you, buddy. I'll definitely plug the channel. I appreciate you being here, and thanks for getting here earlier than you're saying.
No, absolutely. Everyone have a great weekend, Joe. Have a great holiday too next week.
Yes, have a great holiday.
Yeah, man. You too.
But Persona, just to add what you were saying and Brap was saying a second ago, I mean, I do got to say, a long time ago, I used to always say, man, that people are like, oh, I can't wait to cut the cord. I can't wait to cut the cord. I can't wait to cut the cord. And now we cut the cord. And the problem here is now you see, not only are we all paying more than we did when we had cable, now we're paying everything a la carte. And now, not only are you paying a la carte, each one of the items have tiers. So now you're paying for some ads, no ads, or you know what I mean, or some
4K with 4K, HBO with that trash keeping the same price.
HBO's doing
removing
that.
4K.
So not only, but let's just say with cable back in the day, you were paying 100, 110, and we were all kind of complaining. Now we're all paying if you have everything you used to have now, I think we're almost paying. It feels like we're paying double. And this is what X is a free thing back in the day. And listen, I don't mind to pay the whatever it was, the $11 or the $8. I didn't mind trying that out for the first year because you more accessibility to certain features, things like that. I always feel like if I put money out of my pocket for something and I get a service back, that's capitalism. It works that way. If you don't want to pay that for those services, don't. I would never tell somebody to do that. But now when it's like you're seeing they're taking some of the things that we used to just be able to use as a matter of fact, this isn't even about X. This isn't about Twitter. This is about they're doing these things to the companies and they're taking things away from us on that front. That's something we used to enjoy on Xbox and PlayStation. Now that's gone. So these are things, as I say to people, and I know I say this all the time, and I kind of cross the line a little bit here. But people are like, oh, I love Game Pass. Game Pass is already divvied up into different tiers, right? There's console, there's PC, then there's Ultimate. We don't know if down the road they're going to start putting certain games under certain categories, or certain privileges under more expensive categories. So where we started with $10, we started with $1, then we went to $10, then we went to $14, now we're at $17 for Ultimate. This bad boy is going to get to $20, then it's going to go to $24.99. It's eventually going to be $30 a month. I'm just saying. And then they're going to make you kind of force into certain things. If you want to play, I'm making this up. You want to play Call of Duty day one? That's in the Ultimate. You got to pay the most. And then it'll get to the other ones 6 months later. And it's like that kind of shifting. This is what I'm seeing. HBO's doing it. Amazon's doing it. Twitter's doing it. It's just, so it's not me just hating on one thing. I'm just saying I see it on everything. Even Sony does it, right?
Yeah, they do it with the Plus.
They do it with the Plus. And then if you want to stream their games on that 4K, premium, you got to have the premium. They're all doing it. This isn't just an.
And I'm sure if they open now on the portal, they'll probably say you need premium for the portal. If they've opened it.
So, hey,
I know. And the problem is that what they try to do is get you in, become reliant on it, or have people rely on it, and then they increase the price or change it. and you just like, well, how am I going to live without it? Sure, whatever. And also, too, I think nowadays it's so hard to track with all these increases and feature changes and all that other stuff, where in cable, you just saw your cable bill go up and you're like, well, wait, I need to fix this. Now, with all these little stuff, everybody's picking a little bit. Here's $2 more a month. Here's $4 more a month. And they're all doing it. And it's like, it just gets out of control.
Yeah, no, and shout out to X Abbott. Wouldn't be a Crossfire without Mooch dragging out his Game Pass points. X Abbott, I don't even bring up Game Pass. If I do, it's in a segment with a sentence. Meanwhile, all the other shows you listen to, it's the entire show. I don't talk about Game Pass. If I say, oh, this has something to do with Game Pass, well, yeah, I have to make my point. But that's not what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, it's not a 25-minute or 35-minute, segment to the show. I love how everyone can talk about Game Pass, but Crossfire. We're the only ones that are not allowed to talk about it.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
I had 3, 4, 5 years of Game Pass conversations that took up the show. That's why.
That was it. You're right, Barry. My time
is
up. I used it all. So yeah, I guess shout out to everybody that's here, though. I appreciate it. Shout out to the great Jay, Barry, Jez, and Persona. Guys, I want to say thanks to everybody. I kept these guys here for 2.5 hours. What an outstanding show. I promise you guys a good show.
No, Persona was wrong.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
what do you mean he was wrong?
Told my 3 topics. You did 5, Mooch. Stop.
He did that so that he wouldn't lose.
Persona already knows, man. We're in New York. The minute
we New Yorkers, man. I already know the Jedi
you
mind
already
trick,
knew
man.
it was.
Just come in, just stay for a few minutes. And meanwhile, it's midnight, and you're like, wait, you can't go. You need the coffee and the cake.
Jez, D said to me, I got about 10 or 15 minutes for the show. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's how we do it, man. That's how we do it.
I said, sure, I'll be on. I'm in all time. There you go.
Shout out to everybody that's here, dude. I'll go in reverse order. Guys, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit a button, buddy, please, before you guys do leave the show. But I want to say shout out and thanks to Persona, Barry, and Jez for hanging out for the whole 2.5 hours. I'll go in reverse order. Jez, you literally did a lot of this show, and you did a whole lot of your own show. Let people know where they can find you. Happy holiday to you next week, and thanks for being here tonight, buddy.
Hey, thank you guys. Yeah, hit that like button, everybody. This is an awesome time. It's like a Friendsgiving here. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Gaming giving. You can follow me over at Jez77 Gaming Grindhouse on YouTube, and then Jez7780 over on Twitter. But yeah, I did a couple shows, and I do the Gaming Grindhouse on Mondays. Probably do the last Monday now before the holidays. On Mondays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And Frogs is back, everybody. He came back. He stopped traveling the world like Carmen San Diego.
He came back and he went off on California. Was it Los Angeles?
God, he went off on California, dude.
He did. He went off.
He's East Coast.
He's
like, it's all fake. Hollywood is fake. It's all fake.
Thank
you went on a rant.
I appreciate it, buddy. The great gaming with Persona was with us tonight. Persona, listen, I got to tell you, man, when you come on the show, you already know. I don't have to tell you. You know it's going to be some kind of controversy. It's going to be something coming up. It's going to be something you got to say, and people are always going to go, what's that Persona talking about? What's going on with that guy? How do you even get on the show? Persona, I love it when you're here, man. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say tomorrow morning, too. But like I said, I appreciate you being here the whole time. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and happy holiday with your family as well. And let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, sir, man. First off, man, big shout out to you, Mooch, man. Appreciate you, having me on the show with the invite. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat. Everybody, man, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Share the stream out and whatnot. And for me, man, listen, I'm Persona, man. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. And, big shout out to everybody. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Happy holidays. And y'all be safe.
Appreciate that, Persona. Shout out to Mary Wilcox, who says, great show tonight and have a good weekend. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. The great Jay Barry. Jay, listen, I'm very excited to hear you plug the new podcast that you're working on and what you've got up your sleeve, buddy. But also, it's just wonderful to have you back on the show. Of course, I will space it out. I will not be that typical Italian New Yorker that's just over your shoulder being like, Jay, one more week. Jay, one more week. It might happen, but you never know. Jay, great to have you back, man. Like I said, I love your takes on gaming, the energy. It's one of the things that drove me to going and checking you and Persona out on What's Up PlayStation. Is you guys, the energy's high on Saturday morning, always talking video games and keeping it gaming. Jay, let people know where they can find you. Have a great holiday and Thanksgiving with your family as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate the invite, man. Mooch, man. You my dude, man. So I had to come on.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Just out of respect or whatnot.
Appreciate
like I said, I was on a podcast with break I was going to start, coming back and guesting on podcasts is like on, 2024 as I start up my own, because I wasn't doing no podcasts on my channel outside of the, WUPs or whatnot. But yeah, man, it was a great show. Appreciate everyone, talking to everybody and hearing their opinions on, the portal and all the topics or whatnot. Hopefully you guys in the chat enjoyed it. And if you did, hit the like button. I'm pretty sure, by the end of the night, I'm going to get a DM saying that you were screen recorded again, J-Bar, with something that you said that somebody had a difference of opinions about me or something. But if you guys want to catch me, J-Bar, on, J-Bar _ on Twitter, What's Up PlayStation Podcast every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. My bro persona right here in the chat. If you guys looking for a PlayStation-centric podcast where we keep it PlayStation and talk about PlayStation news, definitely check us out. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. It's going to be a super fun show. And if you disagree, with us on our opinions, that's always cool. Let us know how you feel in the chat. You know what I mean? And we can talk about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Hey, appreciate it, Jay, man. Outstanding to have you here. And like I say, we'll go over and check out What's Up PlayStation tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I want to say shout out to a couple people who had to leave early. Shout out to Brap. That's Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. That's at Brap _podcast or Brap Podcast over on YouTube. Also, the great D Batch who had to leave early. That's at D _Batch. Check him over at D Batch on YouTube as well. Gamers Gamut had to leave early, but that's at Gamers Gamut YT. The great Gaming Forte as well. I want to give a shout out to Forte and the great Slow-Mo Backslap who was here in the chat and contributing to the show from long distance. But shout out to Forte. It's at Gaming _Forte. They do a DPS podcast. You guys can't miss it. Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. They revolve back and forth between Forte's channel and then Slow-Mo's. Outstanding way to spend your Thursday nights. And of course, Joseph Moran, or the great Mr. Badbit, as you guys know him. It's at Mr. Badbit. It's the PlayStation Trophy podcast. Outstanding all around. Guys, please again hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everyone that was here. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Enjoy your Thanksgiving next week. And if you're not enjoying Thanksgiving, just enjoy next week overall game. And we'll see you guys. Actually, I want to make an announcement real quick. I apologize. Everyone's going to go, but no, there won't be a Crossfire tomorrow or next week because of the holiday. So next Friday we'll be off. I'll make sure I tweet it out and I'll put it on YouTube so you guys remember. But no Crossfire tomorrow, but we will be, or next week, but we will be back the week after. That being said, guys, enjoy your weekend. Go play something. We'll talk to you in a few weeks. Peace out. Good night.